Here's the throw from Rodriguez. It's not in time. Two-run single for Andres Jimenez, and he's knocked in 4 of Toronto's A's. That is strike 3. And this best of 7 has become a best of 3. The road team reigning supreme. The Blue Jays winning games 3 and 4 in Seattle after dropping the 2 in Toronto.
Snap good, hold good, kick good.
All right, a Friday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. Jam-packed Friday, as it typically is, a Red Friday on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll talk some NFL football, Chiefs football, obviously getting ready for the Raiders. Raider Week. Love hearing those stories in the previous hour from Tim Grunhard. Anytime you talk Raiders with Grunny, when you lived and played and experienced the true Raider-hater era of Chiefs football, I think it's a couple of different eras. It's the 70s, 60s, 70s, Len Dawson, and then mid-90s Marty. Like, that's the height of the Raider-hater era. So anytime Timmy is going to be telling stories about going up against the Raiders, always great. Always great. We can tell some stories about great Raider memories. 3 of them immediately come to mind for me that we'll get into. We'll talk with Matt Derrick coming up at 11 o'clock. Kendall Gammon, world's greatest long snapper. He will join us coming up at noon. Mick Schaefer at 12:30. Sad Fans, Lions edition. I could have just done this Sad Fans on Twitter rather than Reddit because, man, it's Friday morning and they are still tweeting about it. Like, they are still talking about it. Good God, man. Move on. Show a little sack, man. Bow your back up and act tough. Be gritty.
All I heard was show sack, and
Well, sometimes you mix metaphors.
That was yesterday. That was at Heartland and Men's Health.
That's right. That's right. You don't need to do that. Andy Reid coming up at 1 o'clock. That has nothing to do with what I just said there. But Sad Fans, Detroit Lions edition, and they continue to be sad. Just continue to be sad. Grow a pair. Bow your back. Don't cheap shot like Brian Branch and then run away. We'll just tweet about conspiracy theories, you tinfoil hat wearing fools. Come on, man. Act like you're tough. The Motor City. Motoring right to excuses. Let me just hit the accelerator to all the excuses. Anyway, Sad Fans Lions edition coming up at about 12:50. Cuts before the show is over as well. We'll hear from Lee Sterling later on this hour with Todd Lebo getting you set for the weekend with a little bit more than a rooting interest. 913-912-4810 is the text line to join the show. Let's start with a little baseball, then we'll get into some football. We'll get into last night's Steelers and Bengals, which was a fascinating game, which was one of those games to where the line said play the Bengals, like a principal line in and of itself. Like, all right, the Steelers are 4-1. The Bengals are bad. They've lost 4 in a row. Yeah, I mean, Flacco's there, but the Steelers are going to terrorize Joe Flacco all night. So why are the Bengals only 5-point dogs on this one? I know they're home, but it just feels like the line's off, man. It was off. Wrong team favorite, as they say. So we'll get into that. But let's start with some baseball. We talked about Max Scherzer going to the mound yesterday, and I said that it's as close to a must-win in a game where you're playing at home and you're up 2-1 because of what felt like the advantage that the Mariners had on the mound with Luis Castillo against Max Scherzer, who hadn't pitched in a month and hasn't pitched in a postseason game in 2 years. And he's going to the mound rusty. He's going to the mound rusty, and Luis Castillo's going to the mound. You got to find a way to win that game, go up 3-1. You got one more game in Seattle before heading back to Toronto. If you're 2-2, I don't know that you can survive after losing to Bieber and Scherzer when you had Kirby and Castillo on the mound at home. And that's what happened last night. But the theater of the whole thing. The theater of the whole thing was we got full-on Mad Max theater. We got full-on Mad Max experience. You know what I mean? And anytime Max is on the mound, in that moment, you know there's going to be a different level of intensity. And it came out in the 5th inning. 2 outs, a man on, getting ready for Randy Arozarena, and John Schneider makes a mound visit to Max. And you could see that it was pretty demonstrative, the mound visit there. It was theatrical as the Mad Max Theater was taking place, flamboyant to a degree, intense to the highest level with Max. We couldn't see John Schneider. We could just see Mad Max's face, and we find out what John Schneider thought of Mad Max's face. Let's play clip number 2 here, Michael. Let's play clip number 2 here, Michael. This is John Schneider talking about his mound visit in the 5th with Max Scherzer.
Yeah, it was awesome. I thought he was going to kill me. It was great. He locked eyes with me, both colors as I walked out. And it's not fake. That's the thing. It's not fake. He has this Mad Max persona, but he backed it up tonight. So it was, the infielders had a good laugh too out there, and he got the job done.
It looked like he said to you, "Yeah, I'm sure," before he said, "Let's go," and you walk back to the dugout. What did you ask him there?
I just said, well, he started the conversation with "I'm good," and I said, "Are you sure?" And I can't really, you could probably read lips, but I told him to execute. I'm leaving you in. I'm leaving you in to execute. And he did.
Here's Max Scherzer's version of what took place there in the 5th inning when John Schneider went out there and got stared at with both colored eyes.
I love that he got stared down.
Looked at me in the eyes.
Both colored eyes.
Both colors. Here's Max Scherzer, clip number 3 here. Here's Max Scherzer, what his view and take on that mound visit in the 5th inning was like.
It was a big moment in the game right there. It was just a situation I was going through it in my head. I understood where the game state was, knew how I wanted to attack, and then all of a sudden I saw Schneider's coming out, and I kind of went, whoa. Like, I'm not coming out of this ball game. Like, I feel too good. And so we had a little conversation that basically I wanted to stay in the ball game, but just with some other words involved. But I just knew I was strong. I knew I wanted the ball. I knew I could get outs in this situation, and I just wanted to stay in. I wanted it.
I mean, the performance in a pivotal Game 4. I mean, it was just as pivotal as it gets. Game 5, pretty pivotal as well.
Road team has won every game in that series so far.
It's nutty. It's crazy. The road teams have won every game in the series so far.
What I just said. But yeah.
Both series,
Oh,
though,
both
right?
series, yeah. No.
No, that's right. The Dodgers won Game 3. You're right. You're right. Dodgers didn't win at home. Stupid Brewers. So only one win.
Yeah.
For the home team
series.
in both the championship series.
And that one's being boring.
Yeah, I know.
That one's
going to be rough the rest of the way. We got at least the next few days are going to be elimination games for the National League, but it's just a matter of time, not if, but when, especially against that team and that lineup. I want to play this real quick. This is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who's, a bench player at times, but played in the game last night, started both big rallies in the game for the Blue Jays, and he's in the infield, and he's out there with that mound visit, as John Schneider says, the infielders got a good laugh out of it. Here he is asked about, what was your perspective of Schneider coming out to the mound and the interaction with Max?
That was incredible. It was a first ballot Hall of Famer. I was nervous. I'm always nervous around Max when he's pitching. I was told not to touch him, not to talk to him, and for him to see that fire, or for me to see that fire, and for him to finish the inning. I think that was the coolest part. Is a lot of guys try that and then they end up not finishing the inning, but Max was able to finish the inning, and that's why he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Schneid's has talked about kind of having some more field this year. What did you think about the decision to kind of back off and let Max have that inning?
He's earned that. Not many people in this game have earned that right, but he's earned that right. First ballot Hall of Famer. He knows himself. He's been in this game for a very long time. He's had so much success, and if he wants to go back out there, he can go back out there. He just needs to get the job done, and he got it done. So for him to double down and get it done, especially with that tough lineup, just shows why he is who he is. And it was pretty cool to see the fire. I think the fire right there was something that was like, dang, you're talking to the manager. But for him to finish that off was it's pretty impressive.
I love that aspect of it where you got a younger player to a degree that clearly does not have the cachet, the power to talk back to a manager in that way. And for him to go, I mean, dude, you're talking, that's the manager. That's you're talking. Whoa, man, that's the teacher. You can't talk to the teacher like that. That's the teacher. Show some respect, man. Ken Rosenthal at The Athletic did some fantastic reporting on this. So if you want to read the entire story, it's up there. But this, to me, was the best part because he got more information from John Schneider outside of his office, away from the podium, away from all the microphones, and a conversation with Ken Rosenthal and John Schneider. So here is what took place in that mound visit. Scherzer coming off the mound, and then Scherzer discussing Schneider whether he's going to go back out for the 6th. This is great. This is what really happened, right? It's that they gave you the public microphone, assembled media.
Yep.
This is what took place. Here's John Schneider, one-on-one Ken Rosenthal outside of his office telling you, here's what took place. He says, quote, I tell the starters if I walk to the mound, you're coming out. If I jog, you can talk me out of it. I started walking, and he just went, no. So I proceeded to jog. Before I got there, he goes, I'm good. I'm effing good. I said, are you sure? And he went, yeah. And I went, you better effing execute. And he said, I effing will. And then turned around. Schneider punched Scherzer in the stomach and said, well, then go get it. Scherzer struck out Randy Arozarena. Punching his glove, right?
Yeah.
His curve was awesome last night.
Incredible.
The changeup, maybe the biggest pitch of the game, may have come in the first inning with, the one out, back-to-back walks, and you get that changeup. You get a changeup for a called strike, and Polanco had to think fastball was coming.
Yep.
He just threw me a changeup. He's not going to go back-to-back changeups. He's going to go fastball. And he's out in front, rolls it over, double play out of the inning. Ooh, interesting. That was a big spot there. So Scherzer walks off the mound. This is from Ken Rosenthal. As Scherzer entered the dugout, he skipped past Schneider, who had his head down and began screaming again. Quote, I didn't say anything, Schneider said. He was just yelling, I effing told you. Yeah, I got this. Bleep. S. Excrement. Poop on the floor. I got this. S. Scherzer marched to the end of the dugout and down the steps into the clubhouse. John Schneider followed, seeking a more civil conversation. He said, I was going to take him out after the 5th. Quote, I was going to take him out after the 5th. I met him up there because Louis Varlin was getting hot. I don't know if I can repeat everything, but he was in that little equipment room. I walked in and I said, what the F are you doing here? I walked in and he said, what the F are you doing here? And I said, are you good? And he said, get the F out. I'm good. Schneider said, quote, he always needs to be pushed. I've learned that this year. I said, I don't think you're bleeping good. And he goes, I'm bleeping good. Schneider said, okay. Walked into the dugout, told the pitching coach, sending Scherzer back out for the 6th. Amazing reporting by Ken Rosenthal of what actually took place.
Yeah.
That you don't see. He walks to the dugout, walks right past him, goes down the tunnel. All right, well, maybe he's done. All right, he knows he's done, and, he's going to walk to the, whatever, training room or whatever it might be. Back to the clubhouse.
Showers.
Hit the whatever. Instead, he's back in the equipment room, and Schneider walks to him, and he goes, what the F are you doing here? Get the F out. Because you don't talk to Max Scherzer on starts.
I love Schneider as the manager understanding what he needs to do to fire him up as well.
Yeah.
Like, you think about it from the managerial's perspective. He knew what he's saying to him to try and also get.
I don't think you're effing good.
I don't think you're good. I might need to go to Louis right now.
Yeah, Louis hot. He's ready to go, man.
And that is what separates some managers, is the understanding. And again,
100%.
a very different situation, but I think Andy's very good with the players as well. You have to have that sort of.
Because Travis Kelce and Andy have had those interactions on the sideline. Kelsey's a hothead POS. Scherzer and Schneider have that interaction. Mad Max, baby! It's Mad Max! Now, contact being made with Kelce and
Sure.
Andy, all of that stuff. But they have heated exchanges. Kelsey's got an attitude problem. Mad Max and Schneider have a heated exchange. Those are two guys that understand each other.
And that's why I've never gotten that upset with Kelce for
Yeah.
a lot of that.
Right.
The one when he hit him, sure, we can have
Yeah.
that, but that's a different situation. Don't want to dive too deep into that. But the point
We went through
remains, I like having the manager understand his players and know what it takes to get the best out of them. And again, I think Andy with Travis sometimes does that as well. You rile him up a little bit because you know he's going to come out heated and ready to go.
Well, because which game was that? Was it the Eagles or the play where Mahomes threw it to Kelce and it was a 2-yard loss to the near sideline, and there was another interaction between Andy and Kelce. I can't remember what game that was. I think it probably was.
I think it was the Eagles game. Yeah,
that was Andy initiating that. So people look at it and see that was Andy that initiated that. So Kelce initiates the one in Brazil, also with Jawan Taylor. And then Andy initiates it the next week. Like those guys going back and forth. John Schneider saying, this guy's telling me to get the F out of the room. I'm effing good. And I didn't just leave the room. I was, in his mind, all right, I'm going to leave him in. He's good. But I wanted to challenge him. I don't think you're good. I don't think you're good. Well, if you're a manager, you don't think he's good, then take him out.
Yeah.
I don't but he wasn't, he was doing it for effect.
Yep.
Is what he was doing. He wasn't doing it for, no, I don't think you're good coming out of the game. It can backfire though, because one of the most famous ones is a field with Grady Little and Pedro Martinez. Theo Epstein told Grady Little, when Pedro gets to a certain pitch count, these are the numbers, these are the advanced analytics, and it drops quickly. You've got to get him out of the game. Grady Little went out there, talked to Pedro. Pedro said, I'm staying in the game. I feel good. Left him in the game. He got shelled the next few batters, got pulled. They lost the game.
Matt Harvey.
He lost his job. Matt Harvey, you're right. Absolutely.
That's where I thought you were going at first.
Game 5. But Grady Little got fired after that game.
Of course, yeah.
And then they, bring in somebody else. Tito pretty good. They go and win and break the curse. And that was one to where the GM said, this is how you manage this player. And the manager went, I feel different. I got a gut instinct here. It works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But there's also maybe a difference of, did the GM tell John Schneider in the 5th inning, if Scherzer is starting to lose it and he gives up and a Rosarena's up there, you get his ass out of the game. I don't care what it is. I don't care what Scherzer says to you. You take him out of the game. And if you left him in and a Rosarena gives up or, hits a 2-run home run, well, then it might be a different story.
Sure.
Where the difference being Grady Little had a certain edict of this is how you need to manage this particular player because the evidence is overwhelming what happens to him at this point in his career.
Yeah.
Where Max Scherzer, it's a feel thing because you didn't know what you were going to get. And now you're in the 5th inning and he's, gives up the home run to Naylor and that's it, And then he's got one guy on and it's like, no, I'm not coming out of the game. It's great stuff if you have the trust between the two. And I love that John Schneider, I didn't cut the clip, but John Schneider saying that it's actually what I've been waiting for. I've been looking forward to that since we signed him. I've been looking forward to that interaction. They haven't had it yet. They hadn't had a Mad Max moment. And he said, I loved it. I've been looking forward to that moment with Max Scherzer out there on the mound. And it was a great performance in a huge spot for a guy that hadn't pitched in a month and hasn't pitched in the postseason in 2 years. And goes out and does that.
Old guys ruled yesterday.
Dude, it was crazy. 40-year-olds all over the place, man. 40-year-olds on the football field, 40-year-olds on the mound.
40-year-old at Heartland Men's Health.
That's right, 100%. And the Bengals get the win over the Steelers, dude, 33-31. I think the story here is twofold, Sterling. The story to me is, one, Flacco in that moment against the Steelers with those weapons putting up 33 points and that fantastic drive and that dime he threw to Higgins and how smart T. Higgins was to slide. By the way, 30 seconds earlier, if he slides, mistake. If it's 30 seconds earlier in the game, you know what I mean? Mistake. So to know that time after 2-minute warning, if we get a breakaway here, are you thinking if we get a breakaway, do I slide? Or are you thinking, get out of bounds, make sure you're running the ball to the official. We got a couple timeouts still, but let's be smart about this. Ball security is huge here. Instead, T catches it, running free, slides. Smart in that moment. Really, really. Al Michaels said, what, brilliant play?
He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
T. Higgins is a smart guy.
It was fantastic. And they get the win there. And I get real questions about the Steelers.
Oh man, that defense.
They
That
gave up
was
33 points.
When was the last time you've seen a Steelers defense look that bad?
Chase Brown averaged 2 yards per carry this year. He gained 100 in the game.
9.8 yards a carry.
Jamar Chase had 16 receptions. And the minute 53 to go before the T. Higgins throw, if you pause the TV broadcast when Jamar Chase catches the ball, there ain't a Steeler on the screen.
No one.
How?
It's Jamar
It's number one.
Chase. He has 23 targets in the game.
He's number one, and he's the number one, and he wears number one. That should be your number one that you're worried about.
You know where he's going. That to me was a disaster for the Steelers defense. I mean, again, you're not firing everyone after one game, and I can't imagine the conversation in Pittsburgh today of you knew who Jamar Chase is.
Yep.
You know Joe Flacco's going to look that way 23 times, and you leave him that wide open time after time, which again goes to show you Jake Browning might just not be good because Joe Flacco was like, I don't care what I do, I'm getting the ball to Jamar Chase.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I don't think this is it's one game. I don't like people immediately going, oh, Joe Flacco did this, then clearly Joe Burrow sucks. I don't like that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But I do think it's an interesting thing to watch moving forward with the number of sacks that Joe Burrow has taken with that offensive line and that offensive line against the Steelers defense that Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
That Burrow has taken behind that offensive line. And in that moment against that defense that Joe Flacco was able to navigate a little bit better and not take as many sacks and get behind the chains. Just something to think about because we do talk about sacks being a quarterback stat as well.
Yeah, of course.
But Flacco was awesome last night. And Rodgers was Rodgers. He was great in moments. He had the awful throw down the sideline to DK Metcalf. That was an overthrow. He had the good throw to DK Metcalf that Metcalf couldn't secure it, and a great play by the defensive back. And then the awesome touchdown to Pat Freiermuth. And then an interesting reaction of the fact that he's celebrating. The offensive lineman comes over, celebrates with him. They fall. Fun moment, right? He gets up and yells, "Get the F off of me," and runs it like that wasn't him joking around. That was just him being an AH.
Rodgers was sacked once in the game, and it wasn't by the Bengals. It was by his teammate.
But that was him he was just being an AH, man. You just scored the touchdown to give yourself the lead. Celebrate. No. He did his whole little skip, Mario jump, and he wanted to celebrate by himself. Whatever.
Part of me understands to an extent of you're 41 years old. Yeah. You've had a lot of injuries.
Good point.
I mean, you've had a lot of injuries.
Not a spring chicken like
recently.
It's true.
And there's a 330-pound dude. And it wasn't like a saw. I didn't think it was that saw.
Well, he went to hug him, and then he lost his balance.
Yeah,
he didn't He didn't tackle him like we see at end of games where like McCole Hardman, you guys won, and then it's like, no, we got a tackle to do a dog pile here.
Yeah.
Like we got a dog pile.
Was it Broderick Jones?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're Broderick, you got to say. I think you have to have a little better awareness, in my opinion. Like Rodgers probably shouldn't have been that mad, but also I do get you're 41. You've had a lot of injuries towards the tail end of your career now, and.
Yeah, you're annoyed, but you look back and it's like, oh, it's the guy that's been protecting me today.
Yeah.
It's one of the guys that had my back. Now he literally had my back and threw me on the ground.
He's laying on my back.
Yeah, but it was losing his balance. And as we take a break, I mean, I don't. Maybe it's becoming a theme. Joey Porter Jr. after the game. We heard Brian Branch after the game on Sunday. Joey Porter Jr. after the game. I wasn't a fan of the calls. They've just got to let us play. complaining about the officials. You gave up 33 points, dog. You gave up 33 points to the Bengals with Joe Flacco at quarterback, and you're complaining about the officials? They did let you play. You played, and Jamar Chase was open a lot in the game. They let you play. They let you play, and T. Higgins went down the sideline and beat you. But after the game, your takeaway is, I just wasn't a fan of the calls and the officials today. They need to let us play. All right. Sure. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling more zone next. Men, if you are suffering from erectile dysfunction, then you know about all the things that it can probably could cause in a relationship or with yourself, and depression, and could cause arguments and breakups and contribute to divorce. It is a condition that can do all those things, and it is a condition that can be treated. It's also something that comes about from multiple different ways. So therefore, it probably should be treated specifically to how and what is affecting you. Maybe you've tried the pills or the herbals and they have failed. Well, Heartland Men's Health, the spot for you, has treatments that work when that happens. In fact, they have treatments with success rates well over 90%. They have been successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. So what you need to do is schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Now, your initial visit, $99, but that's going to get you the medical consult with a licensed medical provider, that PSA test, and a medically advised test dose. And if the test dose doesn't work in the office, you don't pay a dime. It's free. If it does, you are on your way to figuring out what is going on specifically for you in your unique situation. An expert staff with 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today, 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. We'll hear from Lee Sterling coming up with Todd Lebo. Paramount Sports, Lee Sterling getting you set for a little more than a rooting interest this week, and Matt Derrick at 11 o'clock.
I texted Matt.
Did you?
I said, let's party.
Oh, yeah?
And he sent me back.
Cocaine.
No.
Different party. My bad. It's a Friday. I'm just in the Friday mood.
Oh, yeah, that's what you do. Yeah.
TGIF.
No, it was meth. No, it was.
Makes total sense.
Who's the Parks? Swanson.
Yeah.
What's from Parks and Rec?
From Parks and Rec.
What's his name? Swanson. What's his first name? Swanee.
Mike Swanson.
Samsonite.
Mike Swanson. Yes, but
either way,
you hate liars and skim milk.
Doesn't matter. He's back. He's ready to party today.
That's what he sent?
Was that?
Okay.
Parks and Rec. Ron
Swanson.
Ron Swanson. Yeah.
It's two things I hate in this world: liars and skim milk.
It's true. Why
skim milk is just water lying about being milk.
He's not wrong. Skim milk is gross.
It's great. That's all I drink, actually. So.
Ew.
Yeah,
Grow up.
I did. That's why I stopped drinking whole milk, because I'm not a child anymore. I don't need to drink it straight from the cow's teat. All right? Anyway.
That's the best milk.
Sure. 913-912-4810. I want to talk a little bit before we break. We'll get into this more with Matt Derrick, okay? But sort of a primer for one of the things we're going to talk about with Matt Derrick. A few days ago, there was a Q&A with the Eagles beat writer from The Athletic about possible trade scenarios and looking at a defensive end, because they have been really bad at defensive end. Nolan Smith is hurt. They've got Uche, they've got Hunt, Ojulari, but those guys have a combined 1 sack. And it's, all right, if these guys are injured, and now you've got Za'Darius Smith that is retiring, these guys are injured, he's retiring, do they make a move for a defensive end? And so I looked at him like, okay, I think the Chiefs should be in the market for a defensive end, so what are the names that are coming up? But what I thought was interesting is after reading that, I just happened to scroll a little bit further. I was about to click off it, but I scrolled a little bit further. And the question was, paraphrasing, we talk about how great Howie Roseman is. And I'm not saying that the Zach Bond contract was a mistake, or Campbell in the first round, trading up and getting him at 31 was a mistake. Not saying those. But I wonder if 2 or 3 years ago you would have told Howie Roseman that he spent that much money on an off-ball linebacker, traded up in the first round for another off-ball linebacker, and his line of scrimmage on both sides, defensive line and offensive line, are hurting, and they don't have answers right now. That Howie Roseman would have never believed that he would do that. And the writer was like, it's actually a really good point. I think if Howie Roseman, could go back and do it again, do they draft somebody? Do they do that? And he goes, I truly believe in the second round they were looking for defensive linemen. The board didn't fall the way they thought when they take a linebacker in the first round. They were looking at a depth of a position that they were going to be able to get in the second round. It didn't fall in their favor. They went a different way. Injuries are happening on the offensive line. That's part of it. And the depth isn't built. And then talked about, it's the reason why they couldn't pay certain guys, and when they walked away, and they are paying a lot of money on the void years, the funny money that's there, and eventually that price tag comes due. And I was just thinking about that when I've had my issues. We've talked about it. Plenty of Chiefs fans and analysts have talked about it. The issues at defensive tackle to stop the run. I felt all offseason that was something they needed to address. You and I have talked about Deion Walker with the Bills. That was somebody that I really wanted the Chiefs to draft, and he went in the third round, and I think he makes a bigger difference on this team right now than Omar Norman-Lott. Now, in 2 years, is Omar Norman-Lott making a bigger difference because he's a 3 technique playing next to Chris Jones, who's on his way out of the league and is a step slower than what he is now, and this guy's going to take over the mantle? Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But what they need right now is what went to the Bills in the third round. And that has been, something that I've had an issue with. But Brett Veach spent the offseason saying our 2 biggest weaknesses last year, that depth was destroyed, and we didn't have enough there because we didn't address it to the degree we should have, or we relied on people that weren't ready to be in that moment. It's offensive line and cornerback. And what did he do? Traded Joe Thuney. Oh, my God. How are you going to get better at offensive line when you move Joe Thuney? Kingsley slides over. They pay Trey Smith. They draft Josh Simmons. They pay Jalen Moore. Pay Jalen Moore and then draft Josh Simmons. So you are now deeper than what you were a year ago. Plan B this year, as we talked about with Kent Swanson, Plan B, and Ron Swanson, his dad, Plan B this year is better than Plan A, B, C, and D last year. Okay? Plan B this year is better than Plan A last year. They got all the way down to Plan D last year and couldn't figure it out. Cornerback was an issue. It was Williams and Najee Johnson playing opposite Trent McDuffie and Shamari Connor in the slot. That team went to the freaking Super Bowl. No Rashee Rice, rookie Xavier Worthy, old-ass DeAndre Hopkins that's done nothing in Baltimore now, Joe Thuney, guard playing tackle, Caliendo, backup, maybe third-string guard, depth piece, playing guard, Williams and Najee Johnson, and an injured or a less than explosive Jalen Watson, Shamari Connor playing slot. That team went to the Super Bowl? Are you kidding me? And so Brett Veach goes in the offseason and trades Joe Thuney, trades up to get Noel Williams, signs Christian Fulton, who was a healthy scratch last week. They paying him $20 million. It's the process over everything else.
Agreed.
The process of building the depth. I do think there are some questions that should be asked about Christian Fulton if he's going to be a healthy scratch this week as to why the man that you're paying $10 million a year is not even healthy enough to get on the field.
Well, I think the answer is no Williams has been that good.
But why can't he even be active?
Because he hasn't played special teams, and Josh Williams does.
Or does he know what the F is going on defensively?
Also, a fair point.
Because one of my points as to why I liked the kid from Florida State was Knowles, was that he was telling Christian Fulton where to go. That's a undrafted rookie free agent.
Yeah.
Pointing to Christian Fulton, directing traffic for him. And now Christian Fulton. But it's the process of Brett Veach saying, we're not going to be in a position to where it's going to be McDuffie on the outside, that we can't move him, Connor in the slot, and we have a revolving door with Williams and Najee all year long. Not going to happen. And we're not going to be in a position to where we have to move a guard to left tackle or go sign somebody off the streets coming off an ACL. Howie Roseman paid a lot of money for an off-ball linebacker, traded up for an off-ball linebacker. That defense can't pressure the quarterback anymore, and the offensive line is injured and struggling. That's not how they won the Super Bowl. They did not win the Super Bowl because of Zach Bond. They won the Super Bowl because that offensive line was number one in the NFL, and that defensive line was hell on wheels. And now it's not. And they don't look like the Eagles of old, yet people are saying they don't look like the Eagles of old, and it's Kevin Patullo's fault, the new offensive coordinator. Maybe it's the greatest GM ever that got a little bit full of himself and forgot what got him there and decided to go and have some fun with some fun little off-ball linebackers, and, you get some luxury picks.
Clyde
Edwards-Helaire.
FAU.
Off-ball linebacker. Trading up to get him. I just thought it was interesting in the criticisms that are there for Brett Veach, in paying Christian Fulton, who's not playing, and paying Jalen Moore, who's just now playing. While injuries are a part of it, and there's another team that's GM is always viewed as the best, that their fans are saying, how did Howie Roseman get into an offseason where he did this, and now this is a problem, and 2 years ago he would have laughed in that GM's face that made those moves? Just thought it was interesting, sort of a juxtaposition of how we view our offseason, because Howie Roseman was praised for what he did this offseason. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. NFL fans, what's your favorite touchdown? Well, for me, it's the next one. If the next one would have been DK Metcalf. Because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown can bring you closer to cashing in. From first touchdown scores, Jonnu Smith, to anytime touchdown props, Freiermuth 2, or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap loaded with opportunity. And here's the best part. New customers to DraftKings bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 810WHB. That's code 810WHB for new customers to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, Kansas only. Eligibility restrictions apply on behalf of Boot Hill.
Man, we got red hot Lee Sterling right here with us from Paramount Sports. So hot in the National Football League. Lee, you had to come up with something new to promote, right?
Yeah. We were here till like 1 in the morning Saturday night, and the phone started ringing at 6 a.m. in the morning. So our Sunday plays, we have what's called, have had in the past, called the NFL 5 for 55. 5 selections every Sunday. They're all ready by Friday morning, and we text them out to you. And we've been so hot. 4 weeks ago, we went 5-0. 3 weeks ago, 5-0. 2 weeks ago, 5-0, and I'm sorry, last week had an off week, went 4-1.
Oh,
19-1 the last 4 weeks. So, got a new promotion. It's called Lee's NFL Sunday Golden Ticket. It's 5 games for the next 4 weeks, $197. So, 19-1 run right now in the NFL. No one hotter in the world. Lee's NFL Sunday Golden Ticket. 4 weeks of 5 games every single Sunday, just $197. It's available right now, ParamountSports.com.
all right, let's get after it. We'll talk a little college here and some pros here on this Friday morning. We'll get to the Chiefs game in a little bit, but let's kick this off with a couple of college games. Big game in the SEC, Georgia hosting Ole Miss. This is a pretty big number for a Georgia team that hasn't really been beating people bad, but can Ole Miss take their show on the road?
So here's what's crazy. I mean, the controversial whether he got in and scored a touchdown or not, touchdown right before the half with the Auburn quarterback. I think about 90% of the people would probably say he got in, but that changed the game. And if Auburn wins that game, and if Ole Miss blows out Washington State, we know they were just going through the motions in that game. This line's like 2.5, not 7.5. I mean, they've dominated. Ole Miss has in the last game. They totally outstatted Georgia by 152 yards in that 28-10 win. I think the shine's off Georgia. I don't think this is the same team we've seen the last couple of years. Okay, they won the last 2 games. They got to play Auburn and Kentucky, the 2 worst offenses in the SEC. I think this kid Trinidad Chambliss from Ferris State is the real deal here. I think they're pulling off the upset. Wrong team favored. Ole Miss shocks Georgia, and they lose for a second time in 3 games after winning 33 straight at home, 27-24. Let's go with the Rebels.
I'll tell you something. I watched Jackson Arnold fumble a whole lot of times for Oklahoma. So
Yep.
if it's close to a fumble, he fumbled. That's it.
Well, okay.
We'll see if Missouri can make him fumble, because Missouri's going to Auburn to face Jackson Arnold and that Auburn team that has just lost a lot of heartbreakers. Can they keep getting up off the mat? This is Missouri's first trip away from Columbia all season long.
Well, what we've seen in many years, a few years now, at least last 4 or 5 years, Missouri can beat the teams that they're more talented than. They just can't beat the top-tier teams. And they were right there with Alabama. Give them credit. But I don't think Auburn's a top-tier team here, and I think that they are absolutely stunned after that loss. A good coach and a good quarterback find a way in the second half to get that momentum back and somehow win that game. They were never in the game second half. Saw no effort here. So I think Auburn, it might be over. Might be over for this, this coaching staff. They came in with a lot of promise. They played a lot of teams close, but they don't give any trophies for getting close enough here. I like Missouri here. I think they've got the quarterback that makes plays. Yeah, he turns the ball over once in a while, but he makes enough plays and gets his team in the end zone here. I think the right team is favored. Missouri wins this game here, 30-20.
Yeah, it's a big one for Mizzou to get back on track. That is for sure. All right, let's talk a little National Football League. Surprise team of the past month or so in the NFL is the New York Giants. They beat Philadelphia on Thursday Night Football, so now they've been getting patted on the back everywhere they go.
Yeah.
They're going to Denver to face a really good defense. The Broncos are traveling back from England on this one, but they're a 7-point favorite at home. Broncos pulled one out of the fire, kind of. It was an ugly, ugly game against the Jets. But can this Giants team come in and do some damage in the Mile High City?
Well, I think that they can. Against an opponent like the Jets, I expected more out of the Broncos in London on Sunday. After 2 games on the road, oceans apart, they have to fly all the way back home without a bye week to play the Giants, who have that extra rest coming off that Thursday night win over the Eagles. Bo Nix got a lot of hype last year, but This offense is in the bottom third in the league in scoring, 21 or fewer in 4 of the 6 games so far this year. I thought they were lucky just to get a win against the Jets, despite the Jets getting just 82 total yards in that game. So to come back from that and beat the Giants by more than a touchdown, that just may be too much to ask for. So now, do they have their elite defense? Yeah. But the Giants showed something to me in taking down their division rival in, I thought, decisive fashion. So I'm going to take the G-men and the touchdown here. I think Denver might escape 23-20, but you don't want to be laying more than a touchdown here when an offense is really having a lot of problems. I think the G-men plus the 7 is the right side.
Well, they'll have all the Chiefs fans rooting for them, that's for sure. And the Chiefs fans are going to be rooting for the Colts as they travel to Los Angeles to face the Chargers. Chargers a slight favorite. They had to pull one out of their, in Miami last week in the last seconds. I don't know if the Chargers are any good or not, but the Colts, I'm not sure if they're any good either, but they keep winning a lot of games. Someone's going to lose one on Sunday, though.
Yeah, Chargers had a big day on the ground against Miami. It was more Miami's defense. I thought that the Chargers' offense and Greg Roman, offensive coordinator for the Chargers, still called significantly more passes than runs, 39-25. That's 61% here. Generally in the NFL, defenses that get run against the least are the teams that have the most success. And Colts opponents have run it only 36% of the time on snaps, and the Colts are 5-1 straight up here. They have the NFL leading rusher, Jonathan Taylor here. Danny Dimes keeps rolling on here. I'm taking Indy here, 24-20. You just can't keep getting by without 3 down linemen, and they were very lucky to play Miami last week. Not going to be as lucky against Indianapolis this weekend.
Yeah, the Colts are the surprise team in the AFC for sure. They're really, really good getting the job done. Now, the Chiefs look like they're getting right offensively, but this is a really, really, really big NFL number to lay on Sunday against the Raiders coming to town. The Raiders did get a win last week, but the Chiefs are getting Rashee Rice back, and it looks like Patrick Mahomes is super comfortable dispersing the ball to everybody. Everybody's got to eat is their motto up here, Lee. Are they going to eat enough to cover 12.5, though?
Well, the Raiders' defense has shown to be somewhat decent. So if they're decent, I think they're going to keep them in the game here. Teams also 34-22 after facing Tennessee Titans. So that's boding well for the Raiders here. Kansas City just 14-18 against the spread the last 32 at home. So people think all of a sudden Rice is going to come back and they're going to score 30, 40 points. That may not be the case here. I think we're going to see the Raiders run the football. And when you run the ball, it takes a lot of time off the clock here. I think Kansas City wins here 28-22, but I think 12.5, just maybe a little bit too much this weekend.
Yeah, it's a really, really big NFL number. All right, you've got a game of the week for us in the Big 12 that a lot of people are going to have their eyeballs on, and you've got a golden ticket for everyone with your Red Hot NFL Sundays.
Yeah, it looks like for Arizona State, like they're going to get their quarterback Sam Leavitt back. So is he going to be enough to slow down this Texas Tech team here that is on a roll? So you want to get Texas Tech into Arizona State. We've got a real strong opinion on this game. You want to get it for free, just be one of the first 10 callers. Call 800-400-9741. First 10 callers get Texas Tech and Arizona State on me. And, boy, we on a roll. NFL Sunday ticket, Lee's NFL Sunday golden ticket. 4 weeks of our NFL plays, just $197. We are 19-1 on this promotion. The entire month, four different weeks, Sundays only. That's right. 5 plays, $197. One place, ParamountSports.com.
Log on right now and get those red-hot NFL picks. That's Lee Sterling on a Red Friday on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Matt Derrick in studio next on The Zone.
Want to see more of The Zone? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch.
coming up at noon 60, otherwise known as 1 o'clock. Cuts before the show is over as well. Matt, how the hell are you? It's great to see you, brother.
Great to see you, too. I mean,
Thank
I know
you.
that apparently we are having a cold front move in later.
I know.
But right now, this is like, woo.
It's nice, yeah.
Lovely.
Little
This is a
man's
beautiful day.
Little man's got a tournament this week, and so Sunday morning might be playing in like 45-degree weather. Baseball in October, baby. Let's get it, dude.
The fall
Golf.
classic.
Let's get it.
Golfing tomorrow. Former intern I'm going with, Victor.
Victor the intern.
So
Vic.
that'll be fun.
Oh, Vic the
you go.
intern. You know what I mean? So baseball in October is going on. Will we see Josh Simmons in October or November?
Who knows? We did. I mean,
yeah,
he
that's a
played
good
against
point.
Jacksonville.
That's a great
so-
point. Let's just start with this, get it out of the way, and move on to a lot of other things because there really isn't a whole lot to weigh in on this because it's such an unknown. Have you heard anything? Do you have any idea what's going on with what is a pretty odd situation in a league that is very covered and reported on by everybody that has a website or a phone or some sort of a connection?
Yeah, and the reality is that, hey, we're all human, so I've probably have heard every single rumor and conjecture and speculation that there is out
and we
there
haven't put
because
anything out there.
everybody's going to share it with me and everything. But the reality is that we don't know anything. We know exactly what Andy Reid has told us, and that's not much. I think you can obviously take some conclusions away that if it were something of a legal nature involving Josh Simmons, we'd know about it. So I think, speculating on that's pretty pointless. Other than that, it's a personal matter. Everybody has personal matters. So I feel like all you can do as a Chiefs fan is you wait until Josh tells you what it is, team tells you what it is, send positive vibes the whole way, but that's all you can do.
Yeah. Do you think we'll hear anything before his return? I guess I will say that I don't expect the Chiefs to weigh in on this. I don't expect them to release some sort of a statement either because if you're Andy Reid and you're Brett Veach or whoever, you don't want to say something that is going to alienate the player or give out information that you maybe are speaking out of turn in doing that, and the player or agency or representative or family feels like they're offended by that getting out. But I will say, to a degree, I'm a little surprised that his camp and agency hasn't put something out that could be incredibly vague, just so it is a statement to some degree that, yeah, Josh Simmons is away from the team. This is the case. It's a personal matter that he's dealing with. His timetable is unknown, but he's still committed to the Kansas City Chiefs, loves football, and when this thing is taken care of, he'll be back to playing and protecting Patrick Mahomes. But nothing from them either, which just leaves everything open to speculation.
It does. I mean, and that's why everybody kind of runs rampant with it. And from my PR days, I can see both sides of it, which is that obviously, usually the rule of thumb is to get the information out on your own, do it first, be accurate, and get it out early. But that's not always the smartest course of action. And sometimes a vague statement just lets people run even more rampant with their own speculation and theories and everything like that. So right now you haven't been given anything to speculate on. So I think that's probably the angle to go with it. And here's what I will say, and maybe I shouldn't even say this, but I will. I mean, I've heard a lot of theories and rumors are out there. I mean, 99%, if not 100% of them are false and not accurate. I mean, so what I've heard, I have no reason to believe anything that I've heard is 100% accurate. Any of us that are reporting on this have heard anything. I don't think that we're anywhere close to it. But the things that you hear that, if you're assuming the worst, I don't think you should be assuming that. I think you should just disregard those rumors.
I would say that with all of the people nationally that are close with Brett Veach and Andy Reid, who clearly know what's going on with Josh Simmons right now, with all the people that are close, if it was something they felt like was reporting worthy, it would be out there. But even if they know, or if Brett Veach has said something to them of, here's what's going on, Lewis Riddick. here's what's happening, Peter King, if he was still around. But this is not for public knowledge. that there's not even like a whisper of anything. Because if it was just a family member that was sick, which still can be obviously a bad situation, it would be Josh Simmons. It's a family matter, tending to somebody in his family, and he'll be back as soon as he can when that gets taken care of. But our thoughts and prayers are with Josh and his family. That's pretty easy if it was something like that, but it's not. Last one for you on this, and then we'll move on.
I was like, man, we're kicking out Matt Derrick quick, huh?
Yeah, last one for Matt
Last
Derrick.
one for Matt Derrick. I was like, wow, okay.
Last one for Matt
Bloody
Derrick.
drove from St. Joe down here.
Andy Reid. There's two different reads on this. No pun intended,
Andy
by
Reid
the way.
and who else?
Justin.
There you go.
No pun intended on that, I promise. I feel like I am now on the side that is more in the minority of it. When it first happened, Curtis and I had the same reaction, but talking with people since then, they have more of the reaction that Sterling had. So I'm going to ask your opinion. You don't need to know what side we are on. Andy Reid says Brett Veach is handling all that with Josh Simmons. Is that concerning that, hold on, why is Brett Veach handling something that's just a player away from the team? Or is that an Andy Reid throwaway line? Veach is handling that. Don't ask me again about Josh Simmons.
I hadn't really thought about it in that second context before, because.
So was your opinion that it was a little more raising the level of concern a little bit when the GM is handling it?
See, I was of two minds.
Okay, I'll just ask,
also.
what do you think of it?
I was of two minds.
It's a better way to say it.
I was of two minds also on it. And a follow-up line from Andy would have been, helpful here, but I understand why he just didn't want to say any more or anything like that. My two minds were, yes, one option with, mine were I guess my two options were a little bit different. One was initially, hey, if Brett's handling it, okay, then that means you're talking about a transaction of some sort. You're talking about non-football illness or restricted list of some sort. That's what we're talking about.
Is what came to mind.
And those two options. Then there was also the consideration, wait a minute, this is just Andy delegating it to Brett to be the point of contact and handle all this because Andy's got 52 other guys to coach and get ready for a game. So he's not going to live and die with everything that's going on here. He's just going to
play
hand
football.
it off. And that was probably
a
poor choice of phrase for me, but
if Josh Simmons
he's just
is there,
going to let he's going to let Brett's in the office. Brett can handle all this. He can track everything down. He can talk to all the people that need to be having and we're talking about this like, that they're working on this thing 24/7. I mean, chances are no. I mean, it's just that hey, Josh has got his thing going on. Brett's got his thing going on.
Because it might be Brett
Drew
Veach.
Rosenhaus has got his thing going on.
100%.
Yeah.
It might be Brett Veach and Drew texted yesterday and okay, we'll circle back on Monday.
Touch base, yeah. So
it's not. Well, we talked with Drew this morning, and we called him again last night, and we're going to call him tonight. It's hey, here's what the deal is, and we'll touch base on Monday to see what the he's ready
Brett's
for Monday
handling
night.
that. Let's Andy ever know everything, and then Andy's going to bother about coaching the other 52 guys that got to get ready for a game this week.
Yeah, my antennas were raised, and I thought, well, that's pretty concerning if now it's like Veach handles that, and it's like, okay, transaction time, right? Is he going to go on some sort of a list to a degree that, it's not going to be active there? Sterling's thought was, that's Andy saying, don't ask me again.
Immediately I thought, the Nick Saban basically, I'm not going to answer that, so quit asking.
Yeah. Curtis and I had the same reaction, but it seems like almost everybody else had the reaction of Sterling that it was the media that's out there that covers Andy all the time, like Jesse Newell and Kent Swanson, I think Sam McDowell, like we've heard on the radio different people weighing in, Soren, that it was like, I read that as Andy saying, stop asking me, don't ask me on Friday, don't ask me next Monday. Veach handles that.
It could very well be, but I guess there's also part of me that's like Andy's never had a problem with telling us not to ask him anymore.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point. Yeah.
I think for the most part he might dodge a few bullets here and there, but for the most part I think Andy's the kind of type. Let's face it, because he's done it before.
Yeah.
If he doesn't want to talk about anything, we've exhausted the subject. He'll tell us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because he didn't even answer when Soren said, "Is there a timeline?" He just looked at him.
Yeah,
it's like, no. That was. I'm done answering any question about.
Didn't
this.
you hear? I said Veach handles that.
Yeah. Well, what about a timeline? that's my timeline.
I mean, because he does the same thing,
Radio
too, when it
silent.
comes to Burkholder, when it comes to injuries.
Rick
I
handles that.
haven't talked to Rick about that yet. We'll see.
You'll have to ask Rick. Oh, great. Can we? Would love
Hasn't
to.
said that in a while.
Would
but
love to
yes,
ask Rick.
Yes.
Matt Derrick is our guest. Chief Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. This is connected to one of the things I wanted to talk to you about anyway. And obviously I wasn't going to talk to you about it this week without Jalen Moore having to fill in. But the offseason for Brett Veach, I find it interesting now that everybody in this room was in agreement, and pretty much a lot of people we talked to were in agreement of it was a great process by Brett Veach, signing Jalen Moore, and then when Josh Simmons is there, you take Josh Simmons. And at the worst, if you have a guy who's a really good swing tackle that was filling in admirably for Trent Williams last year that has to play, and next year is your starting right tackle, and Josh Simmons excels, well, that's great process. Where there were some complaints of you wasted money on a backup tackle. Like, how dumb are you, Brett Veach? Because, 3 straight Super Bowls, you must pick out all the mistakes that have been made with Brett Veach over the years. That doesn't seem to be the case now because Jalen Moore filled in, and my God, thank God the process was that we're not talking about Wanya Morris having to fill in, right? We're not talking about that scenario. We will if there's an injury now, which is scary because that depth is now being tested. The offseason for Brett Veach, the process is there whether people agree with the moves or not. Last year it was offensive line, Matt, and it was cornerback that just got ravaged and taken advantage of, and teams were attacking the Chiefs' offensive line and attacking the weak spot in the secondary. Rough way to win games. Yet they still went to the Super Bowl. And Brett Veach spent the offseason and said, we're drafting Josh Simmons, signing Jalen Moore, signing Trey Smith. We're trading Joe Thuney to get other assets. We're drafting Noel Williams. We're signing Christian Fulton. We're not going to be in a spot to where we're just stuck with Josh Williams and Najee Johnson. Is there it's only week 7, but looking back on the offseason, I feel like the way that he approached it is the way that I would want a GM to approach it. And here are the weaknesses. We are not going to be in that spot again. Also, the wide receiver room that was ravaged by injury is now the best wide receiver room in the NFL.
It's really crazy. Just, time takes care of some things. Getting people healthy takes care of some things. Waiting until suspensions are over takes care of things. There's a couple of things with the way that he went about the left tackle situation that, you have to give Brett Veach a lot of credit for. One, signing Jalen Moore. There were other guys who got more money.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Moore got paid a ton, and right now does not look like worth the money. I think there's obviously some other guys that you could have taken and signed that had you then drafted Josh Simmons would not have handled it as well as Jalen Moore has. Jalen Moore has been a cool cat about the whole thing. He's been understanding. He's been a great teammate. He's been chill about the whole thing. So you do that, and let's face it, Brett Veach, they didn't think that they were getting a left tackle out of this year's draft because they're sitting there at 31 and thinking there's no way any of the guys that we want are going to be there. Even Josh Simmons.
Yeah, especially if we think the injury
be there.
Yeah, especially if we give him a passing grade on his injury, we won't be the only ones.
Yeah.
There'll be somebody along the way that'll do that, and we don't have the resources to trade up and get him.
Exactly. They did not feel like there was any chance they were going to get a left tackle that they wanted at 31. So that's why you signed Jalen Moore. And then, obviously, Josh Simmons falls into your lap. You've got that. And, and then there were theories. And once again, this is nothing that the Chiefs would have done because it didn't make a whole lot of sense cost-wise. But it's like, hey, get rid of Jawan Taylor. Well, then you're exactly back where you were last year, which is that, Wanya Morris is your backup, swing tackle. Well, that's exactly where you were a year ago. And you could end up doing exactly what you mentioned earlier, in the first hour, which is, you go to plan B, plan C, plan D. Well, plan B, like you said, was better than plan A last year.
Yeah.
So, you want as much depth as you possibly can at that spot. And I said this going into the season, if Wanya Morris is your fourth tackle, you're in really good shape.
Yeah.
that's where you want to be. I mean, that's really good shape. That's not to say that that Wanye can't develop, and continue to develop. Maybe next time we see him, we're going to see this is a different guy than we saw the last time.
Kingsley looks like that. I mean, even just at guard, and it's a different position, and he's learning, so he should get a little more grace. But I mean, look at Kingsley Sumatia right now. Look how he's playing the past 3 weeks. He looks really good. I was looking up some numbers. I think it was 0 pressures allowed, maybe 1 pressure allowed the past 3 weeks from Kingsley Sumatia.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a huge change. And again, these are young guys. I looked it up. What was it? I think he's younger than Josh Simmons. Kingsley Sumatia.
Kingsley is incredibly young.
And so, I'm looking up right now. He's given up 1 pressure in the past 3 weeks. Kingsley has.
Yeah.
I mean, Wanye could, I'm not saying he's going to be the same thing, but this is when I think the credit to Andy Heck conversation, I'll at least acquiesce and start a little here for not as concerned as I was with Andy Heck, and at times I felt like he was giving too much of the benefit for stuff that had been done a decade ago. I felt like we kept saying, well, Andy Heck, best offensive line coach in the NFL. And I thought at one point, I'm like, yeah, that maybe was the case, but what has he done recently? It had been a while. You're seeing the development of Kingsley. You're seeing Josh Simmons as a rookie step in and do well. You're seeing Jawan Taylor, I know it's a small sample size the past couple weeks, line up correctly and not have a whole bunch of penalties. You're starting to see some of the developmental aspects, and that has to be credit to Andy Heck. So for a guy who I said I think his job's on the line this year, he's answered the questions.
Yeah. We'll take a break. I want to just restate what I had said in the previous hour when we're talking about the offseason. At The Athletic, the beat writer for the Philadelphia Eagles at The Athletic, Zach Berman, had the mailbag. And it was, the question was, do you think Howie would take a mulligan in the offseason, on this offseason? Would like to do it over again in spending money where he typically doesn't spend money. And Zach Berman said, says, I brought it up a number of times. It's a good point. He spent resources in ways different ways than in the past. He's made exceptions, and then parentheses, for exceptional players like Zach Bond and Saquon Barkley. And he said Campbell was great value at the time, but day 2, I think Roseman would like to have back. Maybe the draft didn't fall in the way that they were hoping. But it is surprising, he said, the Eagles have gone 2 consecutive drafts without a first or second round pick on the line of scrimmage, and that is starting to show. And it said if Roseman could do anything differently this offseason, my guess is the approach to the second cornerback spot, an edge rusher. Said Isaiah Rodgers, that could have been worked out. The Eagles went 1-year flyers at edge rusher, didn't address that position in the draft, which I think is sort of interesting for the best GM out there, that there are people in Philadelphia going, feel like maybe he kind of made a mistake this offseason, that thinking, well, this is going to work, because they made the Super Bowl by being an awesome running team, protecting the quarterback. Offensive line was ridiculous, and ravaging other teams with their front 4, while the secondary was good. And now they let, a second cornerback go, didn't really address it. They let a lot of their defensive linemen go. Nolan Smith is injured, and now it's like, well, that was sort of the guy that you were keeping around. You took flyers on 1-year guys that aren't coming through, and the offensive line is getting injured. And he said, it's probably not something Howie Roseman would have done 2 years ago, looking at Howie Roseman now going, why would I do that? I'm not going to just ignore the offensive and defensive line. But he did. I just think it's something to keep in mind when there are criticisms for Brett Veach, that in Philadelphia right now, there are people saying, what in the hell did Howie do this offseason? Because this Eagles team is suffering because of the decisions he made on non-premium positions.
Yeah, and Brett, obviously, look at it this year. They really hammered the trenches on day 1 and day 2, and they've at least continued to address that. And there's things that they still need to improve.
Yeah.
Are there weaknesses on this team? If they get any injuries in the secondary, they're going to get tested, especially at corner. At safety, I'm not too concerned about, because they got safeties for days right now.
Yeah.
But corner, and that was one of the things that was, during the offseason, people were like, oh, don't you need more safeties? And I'm like, no, they're fine.
Corners.
They got safeties for all day long. So they're going to be fine there. Corner, they could be tested, because once again, Jalen Watson's having a contract season, playing great. Sticking with him and betting that one of these guys, whether it was him or Najee Johnson, Josh Williams was going to find the fairway and all of a sudden develop some consistency. they got it with Jalen Watson. He's playing really well right now. If they get an injury, their depth is going to get tested, because then you're going to find out, is Christian Fulton worth the money?
Right.
Can Najee Johnson finally develop some consistency? Is Josh Williams going to find the fairway? I mean, you just don't know about these guys, but Chiefs might have to find out about it if they get some injuries. Defensive line, it's still, that's the thing to me, that even though the Chiefs are maybe not getting the pressure and the production that people want from their front four, this situation is going to be measured in 2 to 3 years. Because if Ashton Gelati is getting you 10 sacks a year and Omar Norman Lott replaces Chris Jones, then you're going to be saying Brett Veach in 2025 was a wizard.
Great draft,
Yeah.
right? And if Josh Simmons, whatever's going on, resolves, and then he's back to playing that football. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling. We will talk with Matt Derrick about one of the names that he brought up there that I think is question-worthy. About this Chiefs team. They get ready for the Raiders, look back at maybe some memories of the Raiders games that stick out, get his prediction for this weekend. It's Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest. 41 is the Mike Podcast. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Matt Derrick hanging out with us. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. You had mentioned somebody in the previous segment in the secondary that I wanted to bring up because it was a healthy scratch on Sunday night. And who knows if he's going to be a healthy scratch this week or not. And I'm not advocating for him to play because I think they have been fine without him. But I do think at some point we start to wonder, or if he's a healthy scratch this week again, like maybe to Spags next week, of, hey, what's the deal with Fulton? You know, this is a veteran in the NFL, is making $10 million this year. Typically it's like, who's going to play? Well, look at the contract, right? That isn't the case, obviously, because a rookie is playing in front of him. But I do find it, I don't know, curious that was one of your biggest offseason acquisitions to solidify that spot. And not that he's not on the field playing, it's that he's not even active on Sunday. We'll see this Sunday. But if it's this week, Matt, then I think there becomes real questions for what's going on as to why this guy can't see the field.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't play this week, it would be a true healthy. I called last week a healthy-ish scratch.
Okay. All right.
Since he was a full participant all week, but he was still on the injury report. This week he's not on the injury report at all.
Yeah,
so
right.
if he doesn't play this week, then this would be a true healthy scratch. And I can see there's the short-term answer, which is that, hey, he's missed a lot of time, both going back to camp, beginning of the season. You wanted to maybe just let him get settled in, ramp up a little bit with a few full practices before you throw him in there. And, hey, right now, I mean, their rotation's working well. Yeah. They don't really have a weak spot in that secondary. And I think you were talking about it, too. I mean, if it comes down to that last spot, you know, Christian Fulton versus Josh Williams, you're not putting Christian Fulton on special teams.
No, he doesn't.
He don't need to be wasting that ankle or that knee.
No, he doesn't.
Out there on special teams.
He doesn't pick up enough penalties on special teams. So you got to have Josh Williams out there to make sure that anytime there's a flag, it's on number 2 of the Kansas City Chiefs. Got to make sure he's out there because I'd hate for them to have a punt or kick return without a hold by number 2. Anyway, Sterling?
I just think it's a sunk cost methodology as well, which I'm a huge fan of the sunk cost methodology because I don't care who you're paying the most money to. Whoever's playing better, that's who should be playing.
Agreed.
And I understand the contract and all of that. And yeah, it'd be great if your, higher paid player was producing and then it feels like he's worth that contract. I get that. But Noah Williams is playing at such a high level, and I think they're already almost struggling to find snaps to give him as is. Like, I think that Noah Williams is forcing himself onto the field, and now they're taking snaps away from a safety. They're basically saying, hey, Noel, you're so good that we're going to have to take snaps away from Jaden Hicks because we have to find a way to get you on the field. Watson's playing at such a high level. McDuffie's McDuffie. Jamari Connor's now being almost forced to play more traditional safety because, again, Knoll is playing at that high of a level. You also have, to an extent, I get he plays a lot more safety now, but Christian Roland Wallace is playing good ball as well. I don't. If it's not broke, don't fix it. If this was the Chargers game, and they looked like how they played in the Chargers game, I would have serious questions. I would, and I'd be concerned. But as of right now, I get the thought process of having him as the odd man out, and I'm a guy who was, by the way, maybe the highest on Christian Fulton of anyone when the Chiefs signed him.
Turns out you were just high.
I could have been.
Beat me to it.
Yeah.
Could have been. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a little high.
Nothing at all.
I mean,
high on life, you know what I mean?
That's who I am.
Yes. Matt Derrick is our guest. Matt, we'll get into a prediction about the Raiders in a little bit. They've got some injury problems. Jacoby Myers isn't going to play, doesn't look like. You've got Brock Bowers that is missing practice and probably his third game in a row that probably won't play. Geno Smith likes to throw the ball to the other team typically. So all of these things are leading into what should be a dominant game by the Chiefs. We'll see if that actually ends up being the case. But I was thinking about this earlier today, listening to Tim Grunhard talk and about the Raiders, and because it is Raider week, and there are three memories that come into my mind when I think of playing the Raiders. It's, because of my generation. Obviously, older generation will think of other things with Len Dawson and those great rivalries that were physical, that, Brian Branch would not want to be a part of because he would get bullied in those games, so he wouldn't want to play in that. But I think of the James Hasty interception in '95 on Hostetler in overtime when Tim Brown was coming across the middle and ran into the official, which, good God, if that happened today. And the ball goes right to James Hasty for a pick six and winning in overtime. I think of that one. I think of Gerback to Andre Rison and the touchdown there late and all of the fans there. And, of course, I think of Jamal Charles in the 5 touchdown
25
game.
touchdowns?
Yes,
Yeah.
25 touchdown game when he got to the end zone and all the beer thrown at him and all of that stuff. Those are the things that come into mind when I think of Raiders and Raider Week. What comes to mind for Matt Derrick, who's covered this team and obviously watched this team for a long time?
I mean, even though it wasn't, it's been said so many times, and I mean, I can visualize. Because that's one of the things that I know because we've seen it before. I mean, the Marty Schottenheimer talking to the team before a Raiders game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of memory to the point where I can visualize Marty saying to everybody, "Hey, you guys get a fine this week. I'm picking it up," even though I know he never said that on film.
I know.
And everything. I'm just sure that he said it. And I just want to believe that. But I mean, I grew up on NFL films and everything too, so I can't forget the old stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
The spear to the back.
the spear to the back,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. I mean, and I'm trying to remember. I mean, obviously, I guess when I was a kid, I mean, I remember the Chiefs weren't very good. You guys are younger than me, so
Not by much, man. Sterling's 15. So
Whoa, I'm never the youngest guy in the show.
Sterling
you're the
at
youngest
least
guy in this
31.
room. You're the youngest guy in the room.
Sterling can relate a little bit because the Chiefs were probably a little bit terrible. Had a couple of terrible years in your youth.
Are you serious?
Did
they were buns in my youth. I didn't see
Yeah.
born in '94.
They were buns in my youth too in the 80s until Marty.
Well, I mean, and they had some good years. Obviously,
I mean,
they had the 03 years, and they had some
Yeah.
Trent Green, and yes, there were some good. But
Yeah.
I mean, and then the 2000 aughts with Thigpen and Quinn and Damon Heward and Kyle Orton. Shout out Kyle Orton for getting that win. Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah.
We'll never forget that.
How can you?
Matt Castle, to an extent, was like a revelation for a little bit. So, yeah, there were some bad years in my lifetime, Matt.
I mean, when I was 10 years old, I guess Bill Kinney was probably quarterback.
Yeah.
You know,
He would've
and
been.
so I was actually watching that day. I think that was against the Chargers though, when Stephon Page went off for the NFL record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and and once again, I mean, I was at least watching on TV because I was in Springfield, Missouri, so I can defend that and explain that. There were clearly only about 8,000 people in the stands that day at Arrowhead, and yet you will run into 600,000 people in this town who will tell you that they were at that game. So
same thing that everybody was at the wild card game with the Royals.
Okay, I was though. I have a
2014.
picture. I have proof.
There was a lot of people at that game.
Yeah, DeBerg was my first quarterback that I remember. I remember those, but
well, my first quarterback I actually remember watching was Mike Livingston.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
But I remember watching
Steve
Kenny.
Fuller.
I remember watching Kenny and Blackledge and that. But watching every game, sitting down with the family watching it was. I think 90 was the first year that it was that, and that was DeBerg. I even remember going to sports bars that had the satellite feed when the game was blacked out in Kansas City, and they would show the satellite feed, and they would never go to commercial break. It would just keep the TV camera on the booth. And so when the guys in the booth are talking, you're hearing their conversation. It was fascinating.
And nobody had any hot mic issues back then because there was no YouTube to put them on.
Exactly. No, but that's how we would end up watching the Chiefs game in a blackout. You'd have to go somewhere that had the satellite feed for you to be able to watch it. So yeah, that's 90 was that for me. So I did start really falling in love with football and when they started becoming the Chiefs of the 90s with Marty and that team and that freaking defense and everything.
So yeah, I guess for me the first one I
remember
remember
it was the Raider hater at that time. It was the Raider hater at that time. It evolved to me from Raiders to hating the Broncos more now than the Raiders, but it was absolutely early on. It was the hell with the Raiders. It's Raider week. You better win this game.
For me the first one I really remember falling in love with. Yeah, you remember games and snippets, but it was Trent Green.
Patrick Mahomes.
It was Trent Green. So I guess in that instance I did have at least a fun team to grow up with, was the at least offensive firepower that they had. And then it went into, obviously devolved into the middle school, high school age.
You were 9 years old in 03?
Yeah, I was 9. And that was, I still remember my first game was around that same time with Dante Hall.
Oh, yeah.
The first game I went to, at least the first game I remember was the opening kickoff that he returned for a touchdown. And I remember being young and being like, this is football.
This is fun.
This is sweet.
I can't wait to tell my friends in kindergarten tomorrow.
I'm all in. So I was all in, and so I that's again. I did have, I guess, a fun era of my first real football teams that you liked. Baseball, different story. But
my son is so screwed, man.
Until
you were 12?
First year.
No.
In my conscious memory, where I guess 79, but I don't really. 79's. I don't feel like I really.
You don't
watching.
look that old, and so I'm always shocked when you talk about the 70s and you were alive for it.
There you go. I mean, it's the fat don't crack, so I got that going for me. I don't know. I mean, and maybe it's because once again, I grew up in Springfield, so I wasn't here. Time different. 3 TV stations. Well, 4. We had PBS too, so. There wasn't the exposure. So I don't really, I have vague memories, before, but my conscious memories of really remembering following baseball and everything like that was end of 1979. So I was 8 years old. So I remember watching the World Series that year. That's when I can remember watching the Super Bowl. So I can tell you at that point, who was in every single game after that and everything.
Right.
I don't really remember. I know people who are like, oh, yeah, I remember when I was 5 years old. I don't remember. I only have a handful of memories before I was about 8.
What was the AFL like?
Don't remember that.
I've got one.
Past my time.
What was the ABA like?
One memory of that. A little bit.
Well, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, one memory of when I was 5, and that was because I was born in 80, and we lived right across from, at that time, Royal Stadium. And in 85, as I was 5 years old, I remember vividly people walking down the street with Royals and Cardinals stuff on, and we were sitting out on the front lawn on a blanket for some reason. It was just cool. We're outside, and there's all these people. But looking back now, I know that was the World Series that people are showing up to go to the game. I don't know which game it was, but it's oh, yeah, we were that close that people would park and they'd be walking right by our house. We could see the stadium from our house. We could hear the crowd and cheers. It was pretty awesome. Let's take a time.
I was 8. But my point of my story when I completely destroyed the show.
You're good. No, Sterling typically does that. So.
What'd I do?
I was 11 years old before the Royals were not in the playoffs in my conscious memory. See,
oh, yeah.
So I mean,
and you were bombarded with Cardinals people in Springfield, weren't you?
Oh, absolutely outgunned. I mean,
yeah. Good for you, man.
And
Way to
they're the
stand
worst.
up.
They give themselves the moniker the best fans in sports.
I grew up with Royals as 1A and Cardinals as 1B, and the '85 World Series ended it. I mean,
damn right.
After that, I mean, the Cardinals dropped from 1B to 28, 26 rather. I guess at that time.
They're actually 31 for me. All right, we'll take it. There's a Storm Chasers. Well, then also.
He's still a big fan of the Expos. He still thinks the Expos are there.
Yeah, for sure. Seattle Pilots. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll get Matt Derrick's thoughts on this Raiders game. What's going to happen? And if the Chiefs cover the spread, is this a laugher? We'll find out what he thinks next. We continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, hanging out with Matt Derrick. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. Matt, Chiefs 11.5-point favorites against the Raiders coming up on Sunday. And this entire week has been a week of, it felt like, anticipation around the players. And, Travis Kelce said on Wednesday in the podcast for New Heights that the vibes are just like the locker room is just, it's electric being in there. It's the most fun locker room that I can remember ever, fun team I can remember playing on. One of the most fun teams I've ever been on. That it looks like that, right? It feels like that when the players are talking. You're out there. Are you seeing that immediately after the Lions game? That okay, the locker room feels a little bit different than even after a couple of wins, maybe even last year, or what is going on around this team that's been to 3 Super Bowls but feels somehow rejuvenated?
Yeah, I mean, and I won't use the word jubilant because I actually mispronounced it there too.
Yeah, because you can't spell it.
I mean, I kind of put an extra syllable in there, so yeah, that's what I do. I'm just.
I like the extra syllables.
The brain fog, man.
It's good.
But I said it after the game. I mean, that's the most joyful, I guess, maybe is the better word for it, because I'll exclude Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But that's the most joyful I've seen that locker room in a long, long time, because it was the first time that everybody's been happy. I mean, they've won games the last couple of years, but it wasn't because all 3 phases played well. I mean, there was only one dude in that locker room that was subdued, and that was Harrison Butker, because he was mad at himself for missing the PAT.
Yeah.
But everybody else, I mean, offense, defense, special teams, everybody had a good day. So everybody was excited and everybody's happy. And yeah, I mean, you just felt like a weight was off that team's shoulders. And this week, they so badly want to see what they can do with Rashee Rice. I mean, that's why I do think that this game might get out of control a little bit, because I'm not saying like Andy's going to put 48 up on anybody. I don't know if that's ever going to happen without the other team having 45. But
good call.
But I mean, they finally feel like that their Maserati is ready to come out of the shop. Everything's fixed. It's been restored, and they want to see what I can do on the highway.
What's Rashee Rice's receiving line, if you're guessing right now, for Sunday?
I mean, it's so weird because, I mean, all the logic points to just taking it easy with this guy and just letting him ease back in. But I feel like one of 2 things can happen. Either one, they're just going to just treat him like he's been there the entire time. They're going to put him out there for 60 snaps and just let him run crazy. Or he's going to force his way onto the field. That it's just like he's going to just make one catch and then make another. And then it's like, well, we can't take this guy off the field. He's too freaking hot. I mean, I seriously, I think he's going to – I'm going to do it. My hot take, 8 catches, 112 yards.
His
touchdown.
And a touchdown. His total –
give him a tutty.
His prop, 5.5 receptions is what they have him listed at, over-under, 5.5, and over-under 65.5 yards. So you're going over on both of those. I
mean, and here's the thing. I would not bet the Chiefs this week because I wouldn't touch that number. I don't touch double-digit numbers with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Even though I think the Chiefs are going to win this by double digits.
What about an 11-foot pole?
20, I wouldn't even touch it.
Yes. So what do you think happens, and do you have a score in mind?
I think that the Chiefs want to see what this offense can do. They're gonna take it off for a ride and see what happens. We'll just see when it stops. I think they'll call off the Dogs at like 31-13. Defense is going to play well again, though, too. Geno's going to give up the ball. It's what he does.
There might be a defensive score in this one, too.
If footballs were candy, Geno's house would be the place to go to on Halloween.
He's giving out full-size, king-size candy bars.
Exactly.
That's what Geno's doing. Matt, you're the man. Appreciate it as always, brother.
Appreciate you guys.
Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. Go and check that out. A fun one for you guys Sunday. That podcast is going to be out quick.
Exactly.
Listen to that thing Sunday night.
It still might be sunny.
Listen to that thing Sunday night, baby. Heck yeah. Thank you, brother.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
you. We'll talk with Kendall Gammon coming up next.
15 years looking at it upside down. He knows exactly how many times the ball will rotate on a long snap, and he'll juggle anything you throw at him. It's Kendall Gammon in the Zone. Brought to you by Crown Toyota and Crown Volkswagen. Recognized as the #1 place to buy a new or pre-owned vehicle. Visit crownautomotive.com to see the latest deals. Experience the Crown difference.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, and of course, Kendall Gammon joining us here in the Zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kendall, welcome in, brother. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very good, Jason. How about yourself?
I am doing just fine. What do you got going on this week? I'm always curious as to what the weekend brings for Kendall Gammon. If you're getting ready for Pitt State, Mo West, what are you doing this weekend?
This weekend, I probably won't go to that. My son is coming home from Bixby, Oklahoma, where he's assistant strength and conditioning coach. They had a game on Thursday. But they're doing something out at his fiance's house on Saturday, so I'll go to that. And, of course, Sunday I'll go to the game and do that. And just as a side note, funny, his high school team, Bixby, they won last night 92-0.
Oh, my God. 92-0. What? I mean, there had to be some sort of a running clock at some point, right?
Boy, you would sure hope so.
Oh, my
when
goodness.
I saw that, I was just like, oh, my goodness. But, Bixby's won 9 of the last 10 state championships in Oklahoma, and they've just got multiple Division I prospects. Greg loves it there because they operate like a small college, and everybody who he deals with are athletes, and they are all in.
Well, I mean, you know what? You don't win those games by not having strength and conditioning programs. Let me just tell you that, okay?
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, that's top to bottom. Okay.
Well, and if
Everybody.
they hadn't had the strength and conditioning program, it might have only been like 62-0.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. That's strength and conditioning is minimum 30-point difference in a game. That's what I've always said. Do they?
Yes.
Do they have games? Is that close to typical for his team to win like
well,
that?
I say they've had games where it's been within 21 or 28, but they played last year's lower division, the division below them, Oklahoma. State champion, and they won that one pretty handily also. So they've just got a really good team when it comes down to it. I think they're ranked in the top 10 nationally, and they're just doing a nice job. That coach, my son just loves him. Said he's been there 11 or 12 years. Of course, I think, from the day they start football in that community, they all run the same offense, the same defense. The coaches help out. The high school coaches help out with the younger programs. It's just put together really, really well. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Webb City and John Roderick and what he did down there.
What's the ultimate goal for your son? Is it strength and conditioning for a pro team, college team? Like what's he shooting for?
You know what? It was in the college level. He likes where he's at right now, so he's going to be there for a little while.
Yeah.
But I think at some point he wants his own program. There's no doubt about it. Cool. But this is as close to a college job as you could get in high school, and he's just really enjoying it right now.
Kendall Gammon is our guest. He's presented by Crown Toyota, Crown Volkswagen. I want to ask this, and then we'll move on from it, because there is such an unknown, and it is tough to talk about it because it is an unknown. If you're a player, and you show up to the walkthrough on Sunday, and somebody of importance like your starting left tackle who's been as good is not there, and word starts to circulate of like, okay, what's going on? And Patrick Mahomes said, well, kind of got an indication something was up when he wasn't at walkthrough. Jalen Moore fills in. What's that like around the locker room? Is it easy just to be like, oh, well, he's not here, let's go about our business? Can it become a distraction throughout the week with that? As a former player, what is that like on the day when there's such an unknown of an important piece that just is not there?
Well, I can kind of recall a few times, maybe it was back in Pittsburgh, we had a few guys and things like this. I'm not completely like this. This is pretty unique that happened. But really when it comes down to it, it may be kind of hard to understand, but you realize somebody's gone, you don't know at the time, and then you just focus on what you're supposed to do. And you've got your job. And it's not that you're not caring. It's just, that happens all the time. Injuries happen, things happen that you don't know about, and you're just like, okay, well, and you figure you'll find out later, or you won't, one of the two. But either way, it doesn't affect the fact that you've got to go on the field and do a job and be ready for it mentally and physically. And I agree. It's one of the weirdest things I've encountered in my career as far as playing and broadcasting. You hope everything's okay, but obviously there's something big, and man, it's not hard to talk about. It's just hard to explain because it's not like you don't care as a player, but you have to go on. You have to compartmentalize and whether somebody's here or not, we're still going to go play the game. And that's not being disrespectful. That's not being uncaring. It's just simply dealing with life in general.
Yeah. Kendall Gammon is our guest. I want to then transition to somebody who was put in that position, literally and figuratively, in Jalen Moore. And my goodness, what a red letter day for Jalen Moore. The guy has the third child is brought into this world, his wife is a champ, and throughout the night, and finally the baby is born in the morning, and then he's there at Arrowhead, and it's like, hey, Jalen, I'm not sure if you got any sleep, but if Aiden Hutchinson was keeping people up at night, you got him in front of you for half the game coming up tonight, and Kendall. We talked about Joe Thuney last year moving from guard to tackle, and that's still on the left side. Can you put into perspective what Jalen Moore was able to do? Not only the fact that his third child comes into this world early morning and not knowing how much sleep he had, but he didn't get reps at left tackle in training camp. He wasn't practicing all week at left tackle because Josh Simmons was expected to be gone. What is it? The kind of job that Jalen Moore did in that entire day, what it must have been like for him, and as you say, compartmentalize, go out and do a job, and do a damn fine job at that.
Yeah, well, when it comes down to it, and I won't compare myself to him, but I can kind of understand a little bit, and I'll tell the story in a moment. But for him, that's unbelievable. I mean, it's not unbelievable. That's obviously what he was there for, and kudos to him for being ready. It also shows that, you listen to everything that's going on in the meetings because you never know where you're going to be. I mean, we haven't seen injuries. Who knows? Maybe he would be the first guard in somewhere also. We don't know that completely. I mean, they would probably tell us no. But, I remember my rookie year. I mean, I was a long snapper and I was a below average backup lineman at best. And then all of a sudden, the first half of one of the games against the Jets, I had to go in at right tackle. And I've told you before, I mean, Neil O'Donnell was like, what are you doing in here? And I'm not certain he actually knew my name either. But I played fine. And it was because probably out of necessity, maybe I'm being scared. But also the fact is I'd listened to everything and I'd try to absorb as much as possible. And then I was ready to go, at least mentally, when I got in there. And I handled myself decently physically. And that just kind of goes to show you that you've got to be ready for everything in the NFL. And again, kudos to him and Beach for bringing him in here because that is enormous.
Yeah, and I have no idea how much sleep he got. I bet. I wonder if he had
not much.
The best sleep of his life, maybe Sunday night, or are you riding a high of playing like that and getting the win? That maybe Monday night is when he finally was able to just sleep in with the day off Tuesday of just like, all right, let me just hit the bed and just snooze. Oh, by the way, you got a newborn, so I need you to help with at night with diapers and stuff.
Exactly. I can't imagine. No, I can't imagine. My second child, or my first, Blaze, my first was born during the season and had him on the day off, and I didn't sleep any of that Monday night into Tuesday. And so that week was a little bit of a blur for me because you're trying to catch up. But kids, I hadn't had coffee up until that point in my life, and kids drove me to coffee, and so I was not getting a lot of sleep, but it is what it is. You deal with it, and you go about your business.
Yeah, Kendall Gammon is our guest, presented by Crown Toyota, Crown Volkswagen. All right, so what did you make of the performance from the Chiefs against the Lions? They take care of business in a big way, winning 31-17. What did you see out there on the field, and what was your takeaway from that game?
Yeah, after that first drive, even though they held them to 3, I was just like, uh-oh, because Detroit just went down there. I think it was a 15-play drive or something like that. But then after that, obviously, the defense stiffened up. But the offense, and you guys have talked about it all week. You probably were just talking about it with Matt a little bit, which is it was the offense of old, just moving the ball around. I think this is Patrick Mahomes trusting his offensive line to stand in there and deliver the ball. And I think we all know that He's a very bright guy and can get through his reads and figure things out, and he can throw from any platform. It was fun to watch again, and I think you alluded to it, which I thought was pretty astute, which is, is this a new thing that they've not experienced before? I think it was Travis Kelce who said this is the most fun he's ever had, or is it going back to a couple of years ago of what it used to be and maybe forgetting and now getting that high again? But either way, not only they're playing well, but I think confidence-wise, they're really up there also. And then you pair that with getting number 4 back, that's just huge.
Wide receiver room may be a little bit different than the offensive line room, and personality certainly different than probably offensive linemen. But it's, in your experience, is it rare to have a wide receiver room with a guy like Rice and Worthy and Hollywood and Juju, Taekwon, and et cetera, and everybody, as it's been told from the coaches to the players, that everybody wants the other guy to succeed, and it's like, the EGE, the everybody got to eat right now that's going on with Rashee Rice returning. Is how rare, or if it is, but how rare would that be, the way that we're hearing of that room being as close as it is, and if somebody has 100 yards and I didn't get a catch, did we win? That's all that matters.
You know what? I think it's hard for people to understand sometimes, but for the most part, all the position group lines are in line with each other, position group rooms rather, in line with each other, and want them to do well. That being said, at the same time, you can still say, well, I hope I get to play. Not at the expense of somebody of getting hurt or whatever, but if I get my chance, I want to go in there. And I think generally, for the most part, position groups are happy for each other, even though they know they're competing with that. Now, there's been some times in my career where there's players who it was about them and they didn't care, and that's who they were. And that didn't always work all the time. Sometimes it worked really, really well because they were so damn good. But in general, I think people would be surprised to understand. And I will say this, though, where you were talking about the receiving room, I didn't know where you were going. I just thought you were talking about the fact, in my mind, this is about as deep a group as the Chiefs have ever had, and one of the deeper groups that I've had in the wide receiver room that I've seen in my years of playing in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, even if we account for injuries with other teams, I still think, it's on par or maybe better with Rashee Rice back than, the Bucs receiving room with Evans and Godwin and Egbuka and McMillan. If all of those guys were healthy, and then all of the Chiefs players healthy, and Rice and Worthy and Hollywood, and we're not even talking about Travis Kelce, but Juju and Taekwon and those players, like it's as deep as I can ever remember for the Chiefs. And, like the number 3 receiver for the Chiefs is probably better than a number 3 receiver that we've seen for the Chiefs in the past. Like, I don't know, the best wide receiver room, would it be Tyreek, Sammy, DeMarcus Robinson, McCole Hardman in 19? Is that probably the best receiving room we've seen, 1 through 4? So then that's rookie McCole Hardman. So then the question would be, okay, is Hollywood better than DeMarcus? If Hollywood's your third, is Juju your third? Is he better than DeMarcus? I would say yes. I think this is the best wide receiver room that Patrick Mahomes has ever had.
Yeah, I think DeMarcus, while he was a good player and still playing in the league, I believe, maybe the 49ers, I forget for sure. But
yeah, he's with the 49ers now. Yeah.
He sometimes had some drop issues at times, and I don't think we see this. You brought it up a little bit, but I was going to bring it up as well, which is Juju Smith-Schuster. He's amazed me this year. I mean, I remember his last year, the year before, talking about the old knees, and meanwhile he wasn't old. He was just talking about the fact that his knees hurt.
Yeah.
But I've seen more burst out of him, Jason, than I've seen in quite some time. And, he may not see a lot of time on the field unless the other guys get tired, but you look at the different groupings that Andy Reid can put on the field at one time, and man, you've now got a resurgence in Travis Kelce in the middle of the field in that second level, and you can go deep, and you've got big receivers now that can catch the ball in traffic, and you've got speedsters. It's as good as I've seen, and I think better than even the one you were mentioning.
Yeah, and it's last year we were talking about why the offense was so stagnant, and why they so many passes were at or behind the line of scrimmage. Kelce, it seemed like it was just like 2 or 3 yards throw him the football, and all of those numbers bear that out to what we're seeing this year. His yards per reception is up to 11.5 this year. It was 8.5 last year. That's where it's a little bit less than what it was when he was like in his prime of 12 and 13 and 12.7 and things like that. That's where he typically was. But yards per target was right around 8.5 to 9 throughout most of his career. Last year was at 6.2. This year it's back up to 8.7. So like yards per reception are down a little bit because he's not as fast and slithery as he once was.
I like
that. I'm trying to think of a way, just like guys would just sort of slide off him at times when he would get out in the open field. And so that isn't there to that degree, but the yards per target is right around what he had been in his prime at 8.7. So I thought that's interesting, just as how quickly from last year to this year it's completely flipped. And I wonder, Kendall, is that, he's a little bit lighter, so, maybe some of those routes he's getting to quicker depth a little bit, or is that the impact that the Chiefs were wanting to have last year, that with Rice out and Hollywood injured and Xavier Worthy being a rookie, that now that true speed, functional speed for the Chiefs this year, that Daniel Holmes, we had him on earlier this week, and he said, this is the most functional speed the Chiefs have ever had, that this is the result of that Travis is more open, a little bit deeper in those routes, and those yards per target are more because there's so much more ground to cover now with the functional speed the Chiefs have.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, what we're saying is they can go over the top, and you have to respect it, and they have more than one player that can do it, and because of that, that's naturally going to open up that 10 to 17-yard area in the middle where you like Kelsey to roam. I saw him do a little shake and jive this last week, which I hadn't seen
the dream
last
shake,
year, and that was
Olajuwon Dream Shake. He called it the Dream Shake, the Olajuwon Dream
exactly
Shake.
Right. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was nice.
Yeah.
And so I think that's good. I will say this, though. I was just thinking about it, and certainly having the receivers they have and getting healthy and all that. But I don't think we can discount the fact that Mahomes feels comfortable in the pocket. And I honestly think you can take a group of even somewhat no names, and if you protect Mahomes and give him time in the pocket, he will figure out a way to get them the ball. And generally, even the guys that aren't great with everything, if they have enough time, they'll get away. Defense can't hold up forever if the QB's back there and he's surveying things. It's kind of like doing the 7-on-7 drill. It's always very skewed towards the offense because the QB's not getting rushed and they're going through patterns and everything. So I think we can't discount that off as far as the offensive line and the difference and the resurgence of the offensive line has made.
I'm trying to find real quick the pass to Hollywood Brown that Patrick Mahomes threw, that he was so wide open. I'm trying to think when that happened in the game. Hollywood kid. Where is it at?
The one where he caught and kind of went down.
Yeah,
still.
and he was laying. He was so open that he ended up laying down. Dang it. I'm trying. The reason I'm looking for it, and I'm scrambling here to try to find it. The reason I'm looking for it is I was trying to remember how far down the field he was when that happened, because it was Hutchinson missing a sack. Hutchinson had him in the grasp, and he slipped out of it, spun, and ended up finding Hollywood Brown for that bigger gain. I thought it was earlier in the game. I guess my memory does not serve me in that. You go 20 yards. Yeah. So Patrick Mahomes to Hollywood Brown for 20 yards. That he's there at the Detroit 49-yard line. They were at the 31, but he gets to the 49-yard line. But what is interesting there to me is when you talk about the way the defense was playing, and this is the point I wanted to get to, having that reference of Hollywood. So he catches the ball, nobody is around him, and he catches the ball 20 yards down the field, and nobody's around him. And Collinsworth showed the replay from the end zone and said, when you're playing the zone defense the way that the Lions are, they don't typically play zone defense. They're a heavy man team. And he said, as the longer Patrick Mahomes has, these guys in zone, they keep just backpedaling because nothing's going to get by him. And he pointed out when Mahomes let go of the ball, the safeties were 50 yards back. Like, how are you that far away? You know, clearly nothing's going to get over your head, but just the technique of your sort of, backpedaling, keeping everything in front. The next thing you know, Mahomes is standing there and nobody, within 30 yards of Hollywood Brown, and who's catches the ball and lays there, and it still takes a couple seconds for somebody to even hit him and touch him down. It was so far. He was surprised nobody was around him.
Yeah, it's interesting. That reminds me, and I think comes to mind, I think it makes sense to talk about, but I was doing a game a while back. It was actually back when Tyreek was here, and Rod Woodson, a former teammate of mine in the Pro Football Hall of Fame defensive back. I was talking to him about Tyreek and Patrick, and is it different from the defensive back when you realize that they can go deeper than anybody that you've ever dealt with? And he said, yeah. He goes, you as a defensive back, you have a certain level, just like a QB has a clock of when he needs to get rid of the ball. You have a feel for how far you can go back, but now they understand that they've got to go back even further. And I know exactly what you're talking, and it really pinged in me also, which was, they really were 50 yards down, and there wasn't people within 10, 15 yards of Hollywood. And that middle area, I mean, you and I could have gotten open, and that's saying something.
Yeah, I know, because I can't get open. That's what's so crazy about that, is no chance to be able to get open. Kendall Gammon is our guest, presented by Crown Toyota, Crown Volkswagen. Do you have a favorite Raiders game memory that you played in, that you remember, one that stands out to you of that specific rivalry, Chiefs-Raiders?
The one that stands out to me, unfortunately, I think we won it, but it was the fact of when we were warming up, and we got a deluge. I want to say like 5 or 6 inches of rain in about an hour and a half before the game. And I remember that whole game. First of all, I needed a stiff drink, and that was going to happen afterwards if we could get through it and playing well. But like when I was snapping the ball, I was holding the ball on top of the water, because if I let it sit on the ground, it was like 3 inches of water that was standing on the field in places. And as awful as Oakland Stadium was, it was actually one of my favorite places to play also, because the black hole was just so violent towards us and everything, and there was just kind of a fun energy to be around. So no specific game, but it just in general, that stadium, while a relic and needs to be torn down if it hasn't been already, was actually a fun place to play also.
Kendall Gammon is our guest. Before we get your prediction on the Raiders, it's another week without a clean week for Harrison Butker. Kicking field goals, extra points was clean against the Jags, but then he had the kickoff that went out of bounds. So a total clean game, not yet. Dave Tobe said that, they're changing the technique. He's not going down to a knee. We talked about that before. And he said it's kind of like a golfer in a swing, that the old sort of mechanics come in there for a second and show up. And that's what happened on that. You've been around kickers for a long time. You've been around that special teams. Have you been around somebody that has changed a technique of kicking this late in their career? And if so, do you have faith that, by the time or as the season goes on, that Butker is going to be back to being Harrison Butker, that, you just never had to worry about a kick, essentially?
Well, I do have the faith that he's going to return to what he was. He'll figure it out. This is a smart guy. I don't know if he was an engineering major or something like that at Georgia Tech. People like me and you don't get accepted to Georgia Tech.
Nope.
And maybe you would. Probably not me, though.
No chance.
But all the same, I think he'll figure it out. I think Dave Tobe brings up a good point of trying to figure out how they're doing things and some things creeping in there, or maybe you were saying it. But I think with as big a sample size as he's had, it hasn't been a great year. He would be the first to admit that. But I think they'll figure things out. And even with that, I mean, we get down to a late game where you need a field goal to tie or win the game or whatever. I don't think anybody really wants anybody else but him going out there to do it because of what he's done in the past. But there's no doubt he's struggling. He's trying to figure some things out. I think he'll figure it out. I think maybe in your first question, ever dealt with anybody, I think Morton Anderson did a little bit because he played so darn long that he had to kind of change things because his body. I mean, when you're using a walker to get to the game, you got to figure out a little bit different way to kick the ball. I mean, playing 25 years is just absolutely crazy, and that's why he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But he was one of those guys that I think had to change it a little bit also as his body changed and he got older and realized that he couldn't do certain things the way he used to.
Kendall Gammon is our guest, presented by Crown Toyota, Crown Volkswagen. All right, what do you think happens in the game on Sunday afternoon? Who wins, and is it as close in the score as your son's high school team over the weekend or last night?
Yeah, I think it will be closer than that, Jace. But, man, I think it started at 12.5. Is it down to 10.5 now?
It's
Somewhere
11.5.
Which is
it's 11.5
now. Is 11 now
Yeah.
for an NFL game? I do think it is a two-score game, and I'll go 27-14 Chiefs. I just think that they'll be on all cylinders, and my big thing, I think they win. I just can't wait to see number 4 out there and
100%.
see what happens.
Cannot wait. Kendall Gammon, you are the man as always. Appreciate it, brother. Enjoy the time with the kid, the child, and we'll talk next week. Enjoy the football as well, brother.
Sounds good. Take care.
Absolutely. There's Kendall Gammon, presented by Crown Toyota, Crown Volkswagen. 27-14. His son's high school team, assistant strength and conditioning coach for his son's high school team. His son is the assistant strength and conditioning coach for a high school team in Oklahoma. They won 92-0 last night. So that's why I asked if it was going to be closer than that score. He does. He has it a little bit. He has it as a 13-point game and not a 92-point game. So a little bit closer on Sunday. We'll take a timeout. More Zone next. Came out like a couple, 3 months ago.
Through the first 10 years, I saw maybe 40% of the episodes. I need to just go and just binge it all.
Dude, they are incredible.
Yes. Yes, because a lot of people will make Sonny references, and I'll recognize them. But sometimes I won't, and I feel like a schmuck when that happens, because that is a classic show. I love every single person on that show. Danny DeVito, a little bit.
Wait,
I
what?
feel like he's the fifth best character on that show.
Whoa, I love Danny DeVito.
Fifth best character on that show. He's fine. He's fine.
I think he's okay from time to
I heard he was forced upon them on that show a long time ago.
That's what I heard as well. That there was
like
a
they
couple
didn't
of
want him.
They didn't want, like, at first they're like, oh my god, Danny DeVito was like interested
we
in
need to have
ours.
somebody's heard of.
Yeah, like, oh my god, he's interested in. At least that's the way publicly it's been. Is like, wow, Danny DeVito was interested in us. I mean, that's amazing. Like, we're putting the show together, and he thinks it's going to be great. I mean, we were just so lucky to have Danny DeVito as a part of it. But I've heard the opposite. That they were like, this was kind of our thing.
Yes, and he was forced upon them.
And they're like, well,
and he's fine. It's not like he ruins
great.
the show.
When he wears the skinny jeans, that's so good.
I feel like Caitlin Olsen is just an all-timer.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, just actress-wise,
amazing,
looks-wise. I'm jealous of Rob McElhenney. They
as you
married
should be.
to her. Yeah.
As you should be.
Sweet D.
The Bird?
Sweet D.
Sweet D.
Bird.
Well, she's on that show now where she's like a
it's
she's like
High
house
Potential.
cleaner. Yeah, and then she helps the cops.
That's actually a good show.
Did you ever see? She was on a show called The Mick, and that was really good.
I like The
think
Mick.
it was only
I
one
heard that was a
season.
really good
Yes.
show. I didn't
was.
watch it, so I wonder that's
I think
why
it
it
lasted
got
one season.
canceled.
Yes, you didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Why?
My fault.
I like High Potential. I think it's really good. I've enjoyed it. So there's a.
Speaking of high potential, this Chiefs
season.
offense with a She Rise back. Am I right,
I'm not ready to
boys?
talk sports yet.
No. We're
Stop it,
talking
Sterling.
about how good High Potential is. It's already in the second season. If you haven't seen it, just go binge it on Hulu. It's really it's a fun one. You know,
Speaking of second season, Xavier Worthy in his second year here in KC.
I'm still not ready to talk sports.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. I'm just wondering. Jeremy Allen White is he
Not
a good
yet.
Springsteen?
Josh Simmons not back
No.
yet. It sounds like Jalen Moore is going to be the guy.
Speaking of The Mick, I don't want to talk sports yet.
Yeah, I mean, how good is he playing Springsteen or not? Like that's the question people
Speaking
are going to
of
have.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I feel like the Chiefs are really taken off
Right?
since the Philadelphia game.
Yeah.
Now I'm ready.
Okay. So Mick Schaefer's with us, and he is presented by Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk. Experience world-class sports facilities, including an ice rink, turf field, state-of-the-art courts, arcade games, laser tag, bowling, and sports simulators, and a bar and grill. Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk, where sports and entertainment collide, as it does with Mick Schaefer. But I did hear that Jeremy Allen White, like he did his own singing and guitar playing for Springsteen. Did you know that? Did you know that?
It's all the
you know
thing. Oh, let me guess.
Did you know that?
Let me guess.
Did you know that?
The theme of Springsteen. He's a rebel musician.
Yeah.
That broke all the rules, and the record company wanted to do it their way. He said, "No, I'm doing it my way."
And
it worked
I
out
did
in
it
the end.
my way.
And it worked out in the end, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well...
Not a big Springsteen guy, personally.
I'm not either. I didn't really get into him.
Oh,
but
you weren't a 60-year-old media member, writer in college basketball or football or
Right.
anywhere in
Right.
sports?
I was
You're
just
not a 60-year-old
curmudgeon.
sports media writer.
He does feel like a lot of his fans are curmudgeons. It feels like there's a big, a big correlation there.
Yeah, I love Jeremy Allen White, and I will watch the movie.
I watched the movie,
but
too,
I just kind of poke fun at that theme every single Johnny Cash movie, the Bob Dylan movie. Everyone's like, yes, I get it. He's a rebel musician.
Well,
oh my gosh,
This is the opposite. Like a guy who went to like
exactly. Man, you know what?
Juilliard.
You know
he
what?
was Juilliard. He had no issues.
You know,
he
all
was
these
very
people that
nice.
work at Sony, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
For
it's great.
decades, they've been doing this and making tons of money. I'm just going to go along with them. The end.
Ta-da.
Like a 22-minute movie. Just
Even Bohemian
Did it.
Rhapsody, same deal. They win against Mike Myers and the record company
That's right,
and all
man.
that.
But it's he learned like he wrote a song based on Sterling's experience. You can't start a fire without a spark. And Sterling was lighting fires.
Without a spark.
It's
It's
guns
gone
for
for
hire
hire.
with butane.
Can't start a fire
Without
without
butane.
lighter fluid.
Or without firewood. It's already cut because I'm not going to go and
True as well. It's
take a
true as
tree
well.
down because it wasn't our property.
Mick, did you watch the Mad Max experience last night with Max Scherzer and John Schneider in the fifth inning, and the F bombs back and forth, or at least one? Yeah, back and forth. I guess
it was back and forth.
There were the F bombs
I
that were
saw
given
it
back
on
and forth.
Twitter.
Yeah.
I was watching Joe 2.0.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, Joe Flacco.
And he was a man after my own heart. Hi, I'm new to this offense. Okay, number one, you're awesome. Here's 23 targets.
I was.
Oh, and it worked out? I'm shocked.
Browning, the first game that he was the starter, it's like, hey, Jamar Chase was wide open down the seam for a touchdown, and you threw it to the guy 3 yards away, and Jamar Chase is waving his arm. Like, how, if you're a quarterback on the Bengals, would you not just stare at Jamar Chase and just throw him the ball?
My theory is that the play call was for the first option was, we're in 12 personnel. It's backup tight end. It's his play. And Jamar's third for Joe last night, it was like, Jamar's third option here? Okay. That's going to be my option. I'm number 3 this play. Let's go.
I'm just going to throw to number 1 23 times.
And then, hey, number 9, you're getting 10 targets.
Yeah. And when he drops it, the look on Joe Flacco's face when Jamar Chase had a drop was like, like Macaulay Culkin. Like,
his arms have gotten tired.
What happened? How did he drop? I've never seen
23
such a
targets
thing.
for one wide receiver is like sometimes quarterbacks only throw the ball 23 times in a game.
100%. Yeah. And then were any of them runs? I know the targets count. Runs count as targets. I don't even know.
No,
I
they
didn't
count
watch
as
all the games.
touches. But they were all no, they were all passes. Joe Flacco did have the run.
Oh, that was awesome.
He had the and by the way, that was not a play called. They did not call a zone read for Joe Flacco. He pulled it on his own and ran based on what he saw with the defense.
He probably knows more football than the guy calling the plays, right?
He said, "No, that wasn't the call. That wasn't the call play."
He's been in as long as that guy, and he's been on the field doing it.
Yes, they overplayed it so much that the guy was able to pull and pick up 12 yards. Joe Flacco running for 12 or 13 yards.
Do you know what throwing to your diva receiver all the time? It solves two problems. One, do you produce, right?
Yeah, right. Yep.
And then two, the diva receiver doesn't loaf. There's no routes there with the George Pickens like, well, this ain't going to me, I'm stopping, or Jamar Chase, right? Or any of these guys age around like, well, actually, I know I'm the third option on this route, but he's thrown to me before. I'm going to hustle. I'm going to run hard. And that's going to help as well.
But it wasn't 24 targets. That was the issue.
That would have been ridiculous. He's like, really? I can't get 24?
I can't get 24 targets? I mean, what the heck, you know?
And by the way, did you see Aaron Rodgers get tackled by his offensive lineman at the touchdown?
Yes.
And
his reaction?
Yes.
F you, or get the F off of me.
Yes.
To his offensive line. That was
I
cool.
just laugh every time I see how his helmet fits his face.
Oh my God,
He's always
dude.
had the weirdest helmet, but now like the pads are so thick.
The pads are so big.
So thick. His face looks so tiny.
He looks like he's in a race car.
Yes,
like he's getting ready to like run a couple laps at
Exactly.
Daytona. Like it is so odd. His the way his helmet fits
He's
his
always
face.
had the weird face mask, but now he
Yeah.
has the weird helmet now.
Right.
I said I actually understand his reaction a little bit. I'm like, you're 41 years old. You've been injured a lot the past couple seasons. Maybe don't have a 330-pound dude try and tackle me.
I don't know if I understand. I'd be like, afterward, be like, hey, man, don't do that again. Not just like this immediate eruption or whatever. Like, I don't know. That To me, that signals like maybe you're not a good person.
We will we'll hear from Trent McDuffie and Rashee Rice after Andy Reid at 1 o'clock. It's a Fast Friday for Andy Reid. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We have sad fans, Lions. They're still sad today. I mean, it's Friday. They're still sadding it up over on Twitter. We're calling them the Detroit Cryons now. Not even Lions anymore.
He calls it Crowns.
Detroit Crowns.
Yes.
More. We'll hear sad fans on the other side of the break. More Zone next. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Mick Schaefer hanging out with us. We head up until 2 o'clock. We'll hear from Andy Reid, Trent McDuffie, and Rashee Rice. It was a win on Sunday night for the Chiefs. That means there are some sad fans that participate and cheer for another team. Let's hear sad fans, Detroit Lions. And now things Lions fans said on Reddit. The funny thing about being a Lions fan is that you learn all sorts of weird NFL rules. New rule proposal: if the play was that sweet, then f*** your rules. LOL. They took a delay a game just to argue some more. Reply: worth it. F*** these refs and f*** the league. So it's not reviewable until it is. Well, f*** this league and f*** Chris Collinsworth. Random. Collinsworth and Tirico were talking about Mahomes' touchdown like it's their first child going off to college. It was a good one, though. The score should actually be 6-7. Reply: I hate this world. Defense is just getting warmed up. We're fine. I'm delusional. One more bad call and I'm going to write my congressman. I cannot believe Amon-Ra just dropped that ball. It's like seeing a unicorn, only the horn is stabbing me in my heart. Only Chris Collinsworth could make me wish we got more commercial breaks instead of listening to him.
I like Collinsworth.
I do too.
I'm not sure if our biggest rival is the Vikings or the refs. Oh, great. Now our defense is the Legion of whom?
That should have been number one.
Patrick Mahomes escapes from Hutch. I mean, I guess he put on his lucky underwear today. Reply: yeah, he was finally able to put them on once Collinsworth stopped sniffing them. Jesus. They should actually start the second half with a ref interview so we can get some good insight on how they intend to continue to f*** us over this game.
4 penalties.
Collinsworth is the guy that offers to pay for the tab for the drinks and then tips 5%. I don't know, is he? After that Sam Laporta catch, I'm going to be stuck sitting on this couch for a while because I'm wearing sweatpants and we have company. Losing sucks. Losing after hearing Collinsworth tongue tickle Mahomes all night really f***ing sucks.
Tongue tickle?
The Tigers, the Wolverines, and now this. Thank you, Michigan sports, for taking a giant fat dump on my weekend. Oh, now Brian Branch wants to fight. And now the runner-up to things Lions fans said on Reddit. I'd rather listen to Stephen Hawking call the game than Chris Collinsworth. I don't know that would be as
Also
good.
dead, right?
Yeah, and now the winner of things Lions fans said on Reddit. F*** you, Mahomes, you zesty-ass frog muppet. There you go. The Sad Fans Lions edition. We will take a timeout. We'll hear from Andy Reid, Fast Friday. Trent McDuffie and Rashee Rice, they're happy. We'll hear from them next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Mick Schaefer hanging out with us. We head up until 2 o'clock. We're going to head out to Arrowhead, or the practice facility, hear from Andy Reid on a Fast Friday as they wrap up practice today. And then Trent McDuffie and
my favorite line judge,
Rashee Rice. Oh.
Did you see that?
No.
Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis showed up to the Shawnee Mission East volleyball game last night.
I did not see that. Oh,
and they were line judges.
That's awesome.
I don't know if they know somebody there or if
That's
it was
pretty
just
cool.
like
fun.
Just for funsies. Maybe they're
Well,
looking
don't they
to
always
get their volleyball license.
They bring like a dad out of the stand sometimes, though, right?
Most of the time it is dads.
To do that?
Yes.
I wonder if Karlaftis ever did that in Greece. Was he a volley?
Maybe.
He did polo.
Maybe
water
did polo. Yeah. Might have. Maybe did
Yeah.
water volleyball. It's fun. It's a big shot. It's a big shot.
It was 1 point.
It's a point.
It's a big
Florence
point.
Nightingale over here.
It was a big point. I like the callback there. That's well done. That's a nice reference. We will again hear from Andy Reid. We'll hear from Trent McDuffie and Rashee Rice.
Will we actually do cuts this time? I feel like we've been cutting cuts, and I don't like that.
That's your big moment every week.
No,
we had cuts last week.
Maybe
you just weren't
not here.
You just weren't here.
You guys do cuts when I'm gone. I don't like this. And anytime I'm here, it's like, sorry, don't have time.
He hasn't noticed the theme yet. It's interesting.
Sterling.
You're here with us, so
What did we do a show last week? We did. You were just
Yes.
on vacation.
I
just didn't know.
We did a show on Friday last week. Oh, I mean, I was driving. I have no idea. That's surprising that we did a show.
Do you
last
not
week.
listen when you're not there? Like he does, right? Do you listen? You listen.
Yeah, I try to.
But
that happens.
I was listening to 2012 throwbacks in the car. So
songs?
Yeah.
God, that's called a throwback from 2012.
I mean, like ish. Like it was. We went back to kind of college days, and we're driving through Columbia, heading down to Southeast Missouri, playing some Dalhousie. So
I hate everything about that sentence.
What? It was great.
Hate everything about you. And that's the end of the song for me because I don't agree with the
3
next
days
part.
grace.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, give me
All right.
3 days grace.
Very, very good.
So what happens when I'm gone? Like, do you guys even have a show?
We typically dance around waiting for Andy Reid and the players at the podium. It's typically
We're
what we
finally allowed to talk sports the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get into a lot of
I'd be
hard-hitting
so
sports talk
mad
is
if
what
you
we do.
guys did that. I'd be so mad.
Yeah. We will hear from Rashee Rice today, so that's good.
Over under 65.5 yards. Mick?
Rashee Rice, yeah, his total is 5.5 at DraftKings, 5.5 in receptions and
Under.
65.5
I'm gonna do under.
yards.
Under.
Matt Derrick chose 8 for 112.
I feel like I don't.
8,
I
112.
want to know.
and a tutty.
I want to know snap count, and I don't.
Yeah,
So
I don't
that's
think
that's
you're
my.
I'll tell you snap count at around 3-ish, 3:30-ish on Sunday. I'll let you know what a snap count was.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
percentage of how is it is normal right whenever the last time he played, or is it going to be cut in half? Is it going to be 75% of that? And so I think it will be decidedly less.
Okay. I was actually going to say I think it'll be this. I think it'll be when Xavier Worthy returned and it was like,
Yeah, that's true.
go play.
Yeah.
Here's Andy Reid.
Really, the only one that didn't practice today was Josh, still excused with the family situation. So the Raiders, we look forward to that challenge of playing the Raiders. They've got a good football team. You can see them getting better every week, and Pete's done a nice job with that. Veteran coach and veteran coordinators to go with it. We all know Tom, who's a special teams coach here. He does a heck of a job, and Chip. He's just had a great career there. And then Patrick, likewise. Patrick had been there before last couple of years, so he does a great job. So, anyways, we know it'll be a battle, but we look forward to getting with these guys and playing and competing in GEH Field at Arrowhead. Time's yours.
What did you see from Rashee this week? Just now that you've been able to have him for 3 days out on the field, and what did he look like?
Yeah, I mean, he looks sharp. It's not a game, but what we asked him to do, he did well. So, and one thing is, you can tell he's in good shape. That's always your worry when somebody misses a few weeks because it's different when you're playing. But he busted his tail, did a nice job there. Now it's just a matter of getting in a game and getting reps there, So we'll see how all that goes.
Have you seen his excitement level kind of keep going up since he got back in the building a few weeks ago?
Yeah, listen, he always has great energy. I mean, I mentioned that before, but it was good to get him back. And positive guy that works hard. It's good to have him here. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's excited to play. He hasn't played in a real game for a year and 6 weeks or whatever it is. So.
Andy just confirmed it's a family situation for Josh he's going through?
Well, personal.
Personal.
Yeah, personal. Yeah.
And I know there's privacy issues with that, but do you guys have any understanding where this is going to be a long-term thing yet?
No.
Not yet.
No.
This, go ahead.
Specific to Rashee Rice, is this a matter of, you mentioned him getting back in shape, is this a matter of ramping him up, or do you feel like he can handle the full workload if necessary?
Yeah, I'm gonna just watch him in the game and see how he does. He knows everything. It's just I don't know how many reps he's gonna get. I'm sure it won't be every rep. So I'd like to see how he does with what we give him.
Just you guys play so many odd times, prime times, all this stuff. You got a regular old noon football game here. Do you like that? Just getting out there and getting the game going early?
Yeah, no, I don't mind it. It should be a great day, and well, we don't have many, but yeah, it's exciting. I mean, anytime you get a chance to play in this league, it's going to be exciting. So, and especially against Raiders. All right, good. Thanks.
Not necessarily a fast Friday from Andy Reid. He started off by saying that Josh is still excused with the family situation, and good on Jesse for following up and saying, just to clarify, it is a family situation for Josh. And he said, well, personal matter. And then good on Jesse in saying, hey, is this a long-term deal? And he said, don't know. Here's Rashee Rice.
Yeah, this week is really big. It's been a while since I got to play in a regular season game with my guys, so I'm very excited to be out there, to go out there and compete.
Explain the bond that you guys have in the wide receiver room. It just feels like this group is especially close this year.
Yeah, honestly, it's just a brotherhood. We kind of feel like everything we're doing on the field is for each other because, I mean, we do everything for each other off the field, so it's easy to relate.
Rashee, how have you spent just these past 6 weeks keeping yourself in football shape?
Honestly, I went down to Florida where it's hot. Try to keep myself in the heat, just like similar to St. Joe. Just train every day, Monday through Friday, and do some type of workout on Sunday to have my mind ready to get active on a game day.
What's been the process of keeping yourself involved in the playbook?
Honestly, the playbook kind of comes natural. I love learning and being able to be the best at what I do. So the playbook isn't as what it was when I was a rookie. It's not too much new to me. It kind of took about 2 days to get back in the flow of things, but it's all back natural again.
How beneficial was it to have gone through training camp?
Very beneficial. Just to be able to come off my injury and get my time back with the quarterback and be around the guys. And then obviously I spent some time away right now, but just it's kind of like I was missing for a little bit, but I mean everything's back in full swing.
Rashee, did you feel like you made an impact once you came back in the meeting rooms? Like, could you see that you had a positive cumulative effect on the guys these last 3 weeks?
Honestly, I haven't. I mean, obviously it makes sense, but I wouldn't know what it's like for me not to be around the guys. So, I mean, whatever they say. I just kind of enjoy being around those guys when I'm not at home. This is my second home. I love playing football. We all love playing football. So it's just kind of natural energy being spread around.
Rashee, are you surprised at all with the way that everybody got to eat has kind of taken off?
Honestly, I am a little surprised. I was just speaking, just saying it because it made sense. I was doing a giveaway, giving out food and drinks, so I made sure everybody ate that day, and just kind of translated to the field. Everybody's balling out right now. Everybody's eating, so everybody got to eat always.
What's it been like just emotionally for you, the roller coaster you've been on, like the not knowing and then injured and all that stuff? I mean, how have you kind of gotten through that?
I mean, like I said, the best thing for me is to be around the guys. I got leaders in each room, even if it's on defense, to help me on and off the field. So, I mean, that's the best part about being a part of a team like this. You got everybody to support you, even the coaching staff. And when I wasn't here, I'm still being able to talk to my teammates. So.
Where have you been watching the games? What's it been like? You've been alone? What have you been doing?
I'm with throughout the 6 games, I was in Texas with my family, my sons, just enjoying the game, being around the family, because I'm not with my other family here.
Rasheed, you agreed to the 6-game suspension with the NFL. Can you just talk through that process and, coming to that decision before the year starts?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was a decision that was best for not only me, but for the team, so I could be here right now. And that decision, all that's over, so I'm ready.
What did you learn about yourself in the last 13 months without football games?
I learned that I love the game of football, like probably my second love right there. And not only do I love the game of football, but I was able to realize how strong I am mentally, being able to face a lot of adversity at the time.
Last couple, go ahead. Rasheed, I want to take you back to yesterday in the locker room. If you remember, Jesse and I were talking to Hollywood about what it would mean to him to finally get the 3 of you all together, and you kind of started dancing off to the side. So how long have you looked forward to this moment, you, Xavier, and Hollywood finally on the field at the same time?
I've been looking forward to this probably for, I think it's been like 380 something days I haven't played a regular season game, and despite the regular season, we still have a whole off season before that where we were training super hard to get ready for that prior season. So I mean, it's been a long time coming, and the time's finally here.
Last couple, go ahead, Sam.
Rasheed, what stands out just about this offense, watching over the past few weeks in particular?
How each week we figure out what we're doing wrong and we fix it right away.
Last 2 in the back, Todd.
So, you did your criminal plea, right? So you're going to have to do the probation, all that stuff. How are you working through, like, you have to do the jail stuff? When would you do that? You do it here, Texas? You got that stuff all mapped out yet?
All that stuff will be taken care of. I'm here to talk about football right now.
Go ahead, Mark.
Well, then the chance to contribute on the field on Sunday, what does that mean to you just as a competitor?
Could you repeat that?
Just to contribute to the team, contribute on the field, what's that mean to you?
It means everything to me. Like I said, these guys are my brothers, so not only am I going out here rocking the number 4, being able to ball out, but I get to do it with people that enjoy doing the same thing I do. As hard as, as hard as we can do it, and against anybody in front of us, it don't really matter. We got the same mindset regardless.
Thank you, Rasheed. Thank you, everybody.
All right, there's Rasheed Rice. We'll hear from Trent McDuffie coming up in a little bit. And, this 6 weeks that he's been out, he said he went down to Florida where it was hot, trained Monday through Friday, and then another big training session on Sunday, trying to simulate what it would be like playing in that game. So he's ready to go.
All right, 90% of his normal snaps, I'll say.
Yeah, said everything is from training camp and then being away from the team. He said took a little bit, but now everything is back in full swing. I guess
it was more hearing kind of Andy between the lines what he was saying there. I'm like, I think Jason might be right.
Yeah.
I
like
it once.
It took a walkthrough.
I'll still go under 65 because hey, a lot of guys.
Everybody got it. Eat? Is it eat? Yeah, that's what it is.
Tired.
Which, by the way,
oh my gosh, the Chiefs are like every high school football team.
But it
has a little motto.
It did start from him.
Hashtag.
It did start from him giving out the pizzas and the water, and doing that. So that was the hashtag. Is like, hey, I'm out here helping out people. Everybody got to eat here, and then it translated over to the football field.
Grammatically, it should be everybody has got to eat, or everybody needs to eat. I think would be better.
I like the thought process
I think
he had with
everybody got
to
playbook.
Eat. There's a T in there. E-G-T-E.
I loved how he was talking about the playbook and how it picks up a lot quicker this time compared to last year. How it took him 2 days to really get into it. He goes, "Yeah, no, I feel comfortable with it now." I thought that was a really nice thing to hear. Good question, but yeah, that is something that you had to watch out for. Any new plays? You've been away from the team. You haven't been able to. Now the past couple weeks he's been back, right? He's been able to do some of the meetings, no practices. But I did think that was an important question. So it's nice to see that he'll be ready to go. Playbook wide open. That was intriguing.
Yeah. Hopefully this team and the plays and the production looks different from the last time he was out there on the field.
Yeah,
which was 22 games ago.
Well, he said 387
80
days.
something. I think he said 380 something.
80 something.
Yeah, could be 7 though.
It was week 4, right? So it was September of last year, and 365.
Could be 7. Could be 87. I heard 80
point
something.
remains though. It's a long time. That's a long time off.
Yep.
And I think the Florida thing has some merit when it comes to conditioning.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I hope so. Well, we did a graphic the other day of like, okay, of course those 3 haven't ever played together. Only you pair each one up. There have only been a few games where, for instance, Brown and Rice have never played together.
Right.
Rice and Hollywood have only played 4 games together.
That's true.
And now Hollywood and Worthy have only played, was it 6 regular season games together?
They played 2 regular season last year.
And they've played 4 this year.
Yeah.
And a few postseason games.
Yeah.
So 9 total. So it's not much for even 2 of them on the field.
Yeah, that is interesting. Well, I mean, it's not even 4 because week 1 they didn't play together. It was only 3 snaps.
I counted that game just because
I'm not going to. I refuse. Erroneous.
I count Jalen Carter being in that first game too. Okay.
So does the NFL.
Yes. No, they don't. They're like, no, they don't.
No, the NFL does not count that. That counts as a suspension. That was an
Ejection
immediate suspension.
And suspension are the same word to us.
Yes, suspension. He's suspended right there. I saw what he did.
I saw he got suspended out of that game.
Yeah, suspended is what he did. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll hear from Trent McDuffie next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Mick Schaefer. Let's hear from cornerback Trent McDuffie at the podium there talking about the Raiders.
Trent, can you take us through that fourth down play? I mean, you were kind of the one that was almost made a play on that, just from start to finish there.
Which one? In the fourth?
The one near the goal line that they ended up calling back for motion.
Oh, yeah.
Your realization of what's going on.
Yep. Yep. I mean, I think we all kind of learned something new on that play. You know what I mean, with that flag. But, yeah, I mean, we knew there was that type of team that was going to throw something new at you, you know, trick plays. And we knew that actually David Montgomery would throw the ball. So, really for me, it was just about trying to fight through the play. You know, I had to take on a blocker. Was trying to fight through Jared Goff. I mean, wish I could have made the play so it didn't even have to be a penalty, but glad that it was.
You seem to be able to read those screens pretty well. Is that a play that you don't really mind when the defense calls or when the offense calls?
I ain't gonna lie, our defense kind of likes going against screens. You know what I mean? I think we do a good job at rallying to the football, and we've had a lot of success whenever teams throw rock screens and stuff like that. So I want to say it's like something I like to go against, but definitely confident when they do throw it.
Chris told us yesterday that he was a little confused. He thought maybe they were still going for two
Yeah.
or something like that. What was it like there in the defensive huddle while that was going down?
I mean, we didn't really know what was going on. You know what I mean? So I think everybody was just locked in, focused, and really just ready for them to run and play. Coming at us, knowing that it got called back, you know, really what was going on. So we were just ready and prepared.
So you got to help out with the local high school volleyball game.
Yeah.
How'd that come about? What was that like? And, you know, just how much fun is it?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Actually, all the proceeds, all the raffle tickets went to my foundation, T22 McDuffie Foundation, and we knew one of the girls who were there. Her mom kind of helped it out, kind of set things up, and it was just, like I always say, a moment for me, kind of just get in the community, you know, have some fun. We brought George out there, learned something new about reffing a volleyball game. I don't know if you guys know all the stuff and this and that, but had a lot of fun, and it was for a good cause, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, how hard was that being a line judge?
I ain't gonna lie, it was hard. There was one time where I actually called the wrong one, and I looked at him. I said, "That is on me, bro. It was actually in. It's not out."
What are the challenges the Raiders present?
I mean, it's Raider Week. You know what I mean? No matter who's playing on that field, they're gonna play 4 quarters. You know, I have a big deal of respect for them and how they're coached and kind of just how they play this game. And I mean, we've seen around the league. You know, you can't really sleep on anybody, no matter what the record is, no matter who you're playing. Teams come ready to play. You know, we're in the NFL, so can't look over anybody and got to bring your A game.
Trent, speaking of sleep, Patrick mentioned that it's important not to come out flat on 12 noon kickoff.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how you prepare your body for that, different than a primetime game?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to primetime game, you have all day. You know what I mean? You kind of rest, have a few meals, could take a nap if you really wanted to. You have time to kind of prepare still if you're kind of behind, you know, watch some more film. But them new games, I mean, we'll be at the stadium by 10 o'clock, you know, warming up by 11. So it's a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. So you kind of want to get your work done all during the week. You know what I mean? You want to be there on Sunday morning trying to hustle around, waking up early, trying to do things. So really just getting the game plan in and knowing what your job is by the time it's Saturday night so you can go to sleep and wake up ready to go.
Did you find yourself watching a lot of Pete Carroll teams just when you were at UW? I assume that was a game that was on.
It was. I actually never even been to a Seattle game, which is crazy since I was out there. But know a lot about the Seahawks. You know a lot about Coach Carroll, and yeah, got a big deal of respect for him. So I know that team will come ready to play.
Anything else? Thanks, Trent.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, there's Trent McDuffie and that fourth down saying that we all learned something on that play, but also ask about the screens. And I've said this about the Chiefs' defense.
He's amazing at them.
I don't know why teams run it against the Chiefs because it's not just him. It's Jalen Watson and Brian Cook comes up and makes plays. Shamari Connor, like they are so good at stopping.
Who was it
the
recently
screen
that
game.
ran a ton? Was it the Chargers who ran a ton? And they just
the Eagles.
It was Eagles. It was somewhere where the
Giants.
Giants.
It was somebody recently.
Yeah, I think it was the Giants.
It was obviously a game where the defense did well, so it was probably the Giants. And you're like, what are you doing?
I
Why?
don't understand why teams do that. I don't know the last time that play has worked that isn't like a negative play.
I don't understand why more D-backs don't act like Trent McDuffie. I mean, he just attacks it. Often it's on the outside shoulder of the blocker to try to turn the screen inside. But often he's blowing it up and making the tackle himself.
Although if you wait, I think the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be.
100%. Yes.
What was
There's a life lesson in there too.
It is. Well, I've seen like a lot of people are like, for instance, this is an open field scenario of like you got to break down and make the tackle. I've heard Nick Saban talk about we don't teach our defensive backs to stop and make tackles. How often do you make tackles when you're not moving? We teach guys to shoot for the leg. You go low, and if you miss, hopefully you've slowed him down a little bit, and your friends are coming. And so I subscribe to that way of tackling in the open field, and I think Trent McDuffie does too.
It's also interesting, like, why haven't teams run more fakes with that? Like, are the Chiefs that good at it while also that prepared to not have a fake run on them? Like, Luke McCaffrey had that wide-open 30-plus yard touchdown, which Cliff Kingsbury, it was a diabolical play. It's the first time I've seen the wide receivers over on the left side, and the wide receiver takes 2 steps back. McCaffrey was going to block, and the left tackle sprinted out like he was coming to block.
Mm-hmm.
And once the left tackle did that, the safety sprinted forward, and McCaffrey went right by him. I don't know that I've seen a fake where the tackle runs out there like that, like Cliff Kingsbury did. It was brilliant.
He can't be a head coach, but he's a good OC.
Dude,
Yeah, there's a lot of guys like that.
Once that tackle took off, everybody ran towards the what was going to be the screen.
I mean, those good OCs know what the defense is reading as well, and you can throw them off.
Yeah, and the Chiefs haven't been, knock on wood, they haven't been got with something like that, and they're so good at those attacking those screens. Yeah, knock on wood. Thank you for that. But interesting, you said noon games. You gotta get your work in during the week because it's quicker. You can't be running around trying to do stuff on Sunday when prime time. You got all day.
These NFL
rest,
players, do they have
some
run
meals.
errands? They go to Target on Sundays.
PS real quick, honey. I mean,
Shoot, my turn signal's out. I'm going to have to go get that. I'm going to go to.
Yes.
I'll go.
I told you to change the oil earlier than. Okay, I'll take it today.
I'll get it.
Take it today.
I'm just going to get the tires rotated on my way there. It's not a big deal. All right, it's not a big deal. There won't even be a line. Oh, there's a line. Sit there like, come on! I got somewhere to be. Son of a gun! I knew it. I shouldn't have come to this fast food spot. I knew it was going to take so long. It was going to be forever. All right, so let's weigh in on the games. We got the cuts before the show is over as well, but let's weigh in on the games this weekend with Stan Weber hanging out here as well. Stan, you got an off week, man. What are you doing on your off week, Stan? You just, you know what? You get to sit around and watch. You get to sit around and watch football all day.
I am learning a lot about football. Thanks for having me. I was just listening to the best sports radio station in town. And in the Midwest.
Why did you listen to that?
And I learned about tackling techniques. I didn't really understand how to tackle until
Thank you.
I heard Mr. Mick Schaefer tell me how I was supposed to tackle.
Nick
so I really
Saban,
appreciate
Nick
that.
Saban told me.
So. It was Mick Saban who was able to do
and
that.
you know Nick Saban has that great Mick Schaefer story.
That's a
right?
great point. It was a great,
That's
Mickey,
who his wife
Mickey
was in
Schaefer.
love
Mickey
with,
Schaefer
yes.
is exactly what it was. Stan, are you surprised that teams continue to run wide receiver screens at this Chiefs team when I don't know that they've ever been beat by one? Like it always ends up being like a negative play.
You got to pick your poison.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just trying to figure out where they can go. I mean, Steve Spagnuolo's worth is so underrated. I mean, he is unbelievable how he's always one step ahead of everybody. So you got to throw it down the line and see what can happen. And you run up the middle, then you say, what about the middle of throwing? There's not a lot there.
Love it.
So
that
makes sense.
How long do we keep you before Danny gets annoyed? So I'm just wondering how long.
Well,
do we
I
have
feel
to keep
bad
you
that I barged in here. I mean,
no, it's all good.
I'm here until Todd Lebo gets back from Arrowhead. Once Todd Lebo walks in, I have to run.
You got to get out.
When Lebo says to do something, it's time to roll.
You're absolutely right, man. He makes everything go around here. Stan, you're the man. Appreciate it, brother. Enjoy.
Thanks for having me.
Yes,
anytime, Stan.
Enjoy the off week, man. Enjoy the time off. But they're still hosting Game Day, which is coming up tomorrow.
I
right
would
here on Sports
choose
Radio 810.
no poison. By the way, when people say pick your poison, I would.
But you have to though.
No, I would.
Just taste bad. I don't want to throw up or die.
No, you have to pick it. You don't have a choice.
Much like Trent McDuffie barreling through a blocker on those wide receiver screens. Stan Weber barreled through the red on air light.
Love it.
And just
Heck yeah.
barreled through the door.
Told him get on in here.
When the cans are on, that's also a good sign that maybe. But I love it. I just love when people walk in. I'm like, sure, why not? Except for remotes. Sometimes the remotes, I'm like, they ask you, are you on air as you're in the middle of talking with your headphones on? And you're like,
they actually ask you if you're on it. Typically, they just walk up and start talking.
That too.
That's typically what takes place. I don't know. So the Chiefs and Raiders this weekend, I think it's going to be full bore for Rashee Rice. Hearing Travis Kelce on Wednesday talk about this is the most fun that he's had on a team in a long time. Like all of this is leading to the Chiefs in a runaway score. But then it's like,
Then you're
I
like,
remember
it's
that we're
the
talking about
NFL.
the Chiefs. And it's like, oh, the Chiefs are going to blow this team out. Well, cool. The Bears. It's been a while. And that was Taylor Swift's first game. They're engaged now. So the last time it's been just a boat race. But what?
Is it a Colt Classic?
They've won. That's good. 3 straight. Well, 3 or 4, but 3 straight wins that they have are by double digits.
Okay, that's right.
They don't
they
have
lose close games.
a 1-score win this year.
They lose close and win big, boys.
That's true. So
what we've always said about the Chiefs.
I've always said about it about
So
the
they've
Chiefs.
scored 28 or more points in 3 straight games. Do you know the last time they did that?
2022. I actually don't
1974. No,
2021, weeks 14 through 18. So 5 weeks there's no bye there. They scored 28 or more.
I'm shocked they didn't happen in 22.
I know.
Well, I looked up the last time Mahomes had 3 straight weeks like this. So 3 weeks combined of what he's done: 800 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, 1 or fewer interception, 50 yards rushing, and the completion percentage that he's had in these 3 games. And the last time that has happened was the end of the 2021 season, when it was.
that was.
The last
the
one was
stretch.
against the Bengals that they lost in week 16 or whatever that was when they lost to the Bengals. Ended up losing to the Bengals later on in the AFC Championship game. But it was that 3-week stretch where Mahomes was just, he was awesome.
He won the
And
MVP that year, too.
He did,
and that probably put the stamp on it
No,
in 22.
22 on the, but 21 is the last time
this
he had
is
a
21. Okay,
he had a
gotcha.
3-game stretch like this. It was when they lost to the Bengals on the road when they had, 3rd and 18, and Jamar Chase made the catch over Charvarius Ward on the right sideline. It was like, son of a gun, man.
Remember 2018 when the fewest points they scored in a game was 26?
Good night.
They only had, 2 games in the 20s
They
that
were
year?
so bad that
3
game.
games in the 20s that year.
They were so bad
The,
that
the,
game.
the first time they scored less than 26, they scored half that against the Colts. That
Oh, yeah, that's right.
19-13 game. The
Yeah.
day after Travis Kelce's 30th birthday, we're like,
Oh,
is this team hungover?
That's right.
Is this team hungover?
Yeah, and that odd Colts game. And then you had who was filling in at left tackle for Eric Fisher. Cam Irving steps on Patrick Mahomes' injured ankle.
Yeah.
And so then Mahomes can't go anywhere. That was a bad night. You know what it was? Red on red. That's why you
This
don't
was
wear
a
it.
Sunday night game, I think, wasn't it? It was a night game.
That's why you don't wear it. You don't wear the red on red. You just don't do it. You
I
burn
actually
those.
think that had nothing to do with it, and they should
everything
they
to do with it.
Should switch up their uniforms.
only reason
they
they
should have a
lost.
lot of alternates.
They would have flipped the score. It
hate
would have been
that.
31.
I liked the Bengals uniforms last night. I
They
like
were
the
nice.
frosty Bills. Do something different.
The Bengals were pretty nice. The Bengals do have some slick uniforms. I mean, they
And the Chiefs don't have great colors that go together.
red and gold and
It's not gold. It's yellow.
It's gold.
Ketchup and mustard. It's McDonald's colors.
It's gold.
So they need to vary it up.
Yeah, it's gold.
Okay.
It's gold.
It's not gold.
It's gold. You know
I've
what?
seen gold. That's on Notre Dame's helmets. Different colors.
It's a little pretentious for them. That's a little too gold. All right.
Also, Missouri is black and yellow as well.
Yeah, when did
Shut your
Missouri
mouth.
The
change?
Gold Girls, they'll wear the
They
gold.
are gold.
Why
but
did
it's a
Missouri,
gold.
and this has been a pet peeve of mine for a while, why did they decide that at some point, like, you know what? You know how we're black and gold? Yellow now.
Yeah,
Black and yellow, black and yellow.
I hate that.
Yellow's
Why,
not a good color.
I don't know
No,
why.
that's
It's
why
not
they're
go
gold.
well with others.
That's why they're gold, because yellow's not a
It's
great
been my
color.
pet peeve
I've
for
seen
Missouri
Notre
for a little
Dame,
bit.
and I've seen Missouri, and I can tell them apart.
So
Good for you.
all of this leads to, man, the Chiefs are just going to run away in this game. And yet I've been trying to be like, I mean, is it just that easy? But Sterling convinced me right there that their wins are by double digits, their losses are by a score. They're not going to lose this game, so they're winning 34-10. I mean, bleep it. Just name your score. Name your score. That's what we're doing. But I think the Chiefs could
We
maybe
do that every week.
name the score as well. I'm going 34-10. Let's do the damn thing. Jacoby Myers ain't playing. Brock Bowers ain't playing. All you got to do is stop Ashton Genty. Then Geno Smith's going to throw the ball to you. He doesn't know who's on his team.
All those narratives just
There's a lot of
line
narratives.
up too well for the Chiefs. So
Christmas Day did happen, didn't it?
I'll go 30-21 Chiefs.
30-21 Chiefs not covering. Oh,
Not
wow.
covering, but a 2-score win.
You hate the Chiefs so much. Sterling?
29.
Uh-huh.
For which team?
If the Raiders get 29, we're just going to break.
Chiefs.
Okay.
Raiders 17. 29-17.
Ooh, they
Chiefs.
cover by a half point.
Or they don't cover by a half point.
It's
depending on
11
where
and a half
you're
right
looking.
now. Still 11 and a half. You're going to want the 11 and a half.
Or do I want the 12 and a half?
Well, that's a good point. Yeah.
What's some? Do I thread the needle?
maybe.
For them to win specifically by 12.
By 12, yeah.
I got a middle right here, man. I got it at 11.5 and 12.5, and boom. They win by 12. I am double dipping.
Feeling pretty good.
Double dipping. Darcy?
I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I got 35-17 Chiefs.
35-17.
What was the old guess? Was it 38-18?
37-17.
37-17.
Yeah. I probably should go. Should I go
37-17?
37-17?
34-10. You might as well do 37-17.
Because, boy, would I
Same
be really mad if it was 37-17.
Do you trust Butker to make a field goal?
Yeah,
Well,
make
I mean-
one, but miss two.
No, he would. That's just a missed extra point and a field goal made. There's 37.
He's made a
Gotcha.
kick in all these games. He's missed a kick.
It's 5 touchdowns, 1 field goal with a missed extra
Why
point.
do we focus
How
on
are
all
we
the
missing
misses
this?
versus all the makes?
How are we missing how this is going to happen?
I didn't realize this. Do you know the most kicks he's missed in a season?
7.
He had a
Wait, field goals or extra points?
All together.
When
field goals and PATs combined.
7.
Well, when he missed a bunch of games with the ankle injury,
That's the year.
he struggled.
He only played 13 games,
Yeah.
but that's the most he missed. Was that
Yep.
21?
It was 22 because they played in the
They
Super
started-
Bowl.
Yeah, that was
How
the
many did he
Arizona
miss,
game.
Mick?
9 in 13 games.
9 times.
9 times. He's only got 6, so he's pacing to break that. But I didn't remember him missing that many in that few games.
You know, he did make some pretty big kicks that year in the playoffs, like in the AFC
Sure
Championship game
did.
and the Super Bowl.
Yes,
he
he
made
did,
both
as
of
a
those
matter of
kicks
fact.
when it mattered. So there you go, 35-17 for Darcy. Does Missouri win this weekend?
Oh, big time. What's that?
Big time?
What's that line?
Missouri 1.5. They're favored by 1.5. So Missouri,
Yeah, that's-
Auburn's,
they're gonna cover.
Auburn's getting a 1.5 at home.
Yeah, they
That's-
should cover.
Yeah, but they're in disarray. Auburn's in disarray.
Are they?
Missouri is
They've
about
lost 3 in a row.
Missouri is about to bounce back with a vengeance. Yes, they didn't beat Bama, but they're beating the other team in Bama, which is Auburn.
There's UAB. They're in Bama too.
Yeah, I wish they were playing UAB this weekend.
Yeah. Or like
so-
Northern Alabama D2 school.
Auburn has been
Troy's in Alabama.
You know, for as much as the Lions have been crying this week, like the Lions fans and Lions players, by the way, the real issue has been Auburn getting screwed time and time again with some of the ref shows. Like legit, like how are you? And they've been losing some of these games. Like the Kirby Smart timeout was embarrassing for the league, for the SEC.
I don't know about this.
They were getting ready to run a play, and Kirby Smart's yelling for timeout, 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 timeout. They grant him the timeout, and then after the timeout happens, he goes, "No, I didn't want the timeout. I was clapping. And then he starts walking the sideline clapping. He's like, "I was clapping." They get together and they say, "No timeout called. Replay the play." Clear as day, he's yelling, "Timeout,
Oh my
timeout,
God,
timeout,
no
timeout."
way.
Then he tried to play it off. "I was clapping." Like, dude. And they gave him the timeout back.
They ran the play.
They were going to run the play,
Okay.
and they called timeout.
Okay.
It should have
Yeah.
used the timeout there.
So
and so they just gave him a fresh, fresh play clock and the timeout back, and just convinced him. No, I was clapping. Really? There's a difference between timeout and right. I mean, it sounds
usually
different.
you're yelling it too.
Yes. Unlike in the Eagles game when Jalen Hurts and Sirianni, nobody called timeout, but they still gave it to him instead of a delay of game. The refs hate the Chiefs. I think Missouri wins, but I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think it's going to be absolutely close, and Bo Prabula
I think it'll be a tiger fight.
I think it's going to be a tiger. I think
Cat
it's going to
fight.
be a cat fight. And I think Bo Prabula is going to have to make a couple plays for them to win this game because Auburn they're a feisty tiger. And
They're
I
the
think
best 3-3 team out there.
They're pretty good. So yeah, I think if Missouri goes down there thinking they're going to, just roll the helmets out there, you're not going to win because that would be dumb just to roll your helmets out there and not play. Let's come back to cut. Should we do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Should we cut it up on the other side of the break?
That's what I love to do.
Let's plan it. We'll do cuts on the other side. More zone next. You know, man, if you're out there in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and you are wondering what your testosterone level is, it's pretty easy to get it checked. Sterling did it yesterday when we were at Heartland Men's Health in Overland Park. Very easy, yeah. And he's got a very, very low threshold for pain, and he said it was painless. So if it's painless for him and everything hurts him, then
did a great job.
Crystal was great, as he said. And Crystal will take care of you there at Heartland Men's Health, as they all will, because they have been successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. And they'll let you know that guys in their early to mid-30s start losing 2 to 3% of their testosterone production every year. Happens gradually. It starts to accumulate. Next thing you know, you don't feel the same way that you did when you were in your 20s and 30s. A lot of those symptoms that go along with low testosterone. If you are just wondering what the T level is, or you have some of these symptoms, go ahead and schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health. They'll do your lab work with you, have your results within 30 minutes. Sterling had his in 15 minutes. A licensed medical provider will review your results with you, discuss your options, help you make the decision together with the medical team. Cost of the appointment, only $99, and that includes medical consult, T, and PSA test. And if you sign up for testosterone treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Heartland Men's Health, successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence. All right, wrapping things up here on this Friday edition of the show, week's worth of shows. Let's go ahead and let's cut it up. Let's see what has happened, whether this week or, I don't know, whenever we'll find out whatever Michael Darcy's going to play. Take it away.
So it looks like the Denver Broncos are going to hold on for a glorious 13-11 win. That's the kind of game you want to showcase to another continent. If you're looking to grow the game, take the Jets out there. Let me show you what American football is all about.
It'd be an act of war. This is terrible.
The games are so bad.
This game is trash, but the Broncos are in the victory.
I've been walking around poking people with it. I did what now?
What? I'm not sure what he was doing.
One-time Kansas commit, Jamar Chase.
No.
He committed to David Beatty.
You want to intervene here? Because I'm not even
Yeah,
asking for
maybe
this.
David
He keeps doing
Beatty
this.
would
There's
have-
something here that he wants to. I don't know.
It's a bad day for you to walk around gloating.
I'm talking about Jamar Chase committing to everybody for a week.
Sky
He didn't commit to Texas.
Oh, okay. Neither did Oklahoma this weekend.
Jake from the top rope.
We got a fact check. Hold on.
I know.
Let's check Collier's work.
He told me
3-2. I might look at him and realize I went 1-4. I was 4-1, and you have me down for 2-3.
I'll have you down for 3.
Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong one. You have me down for 3-2, and in reality, I was 4-1.
No way.
Yes.
No, you lost Chiefs and you picked FSU. Or
You're right.
you
100%
picked
correct.
FSU.
Yes.
3-2.
Yeah.
Suck it, Petro.
Mark that.
I've been walking around poking people with it. What's wrong? What am I talking
You
about?
said it twice.
Yeah,
Wow.
you kept saying it. It was odd. I don't know.
What was I talking about?
Don't know.
Probably your wiener.
Mick,
Tight.
what?
They feel nervous.
Yeah, while you're doing that, that's probably what happens, Sterling.
I've been walking around poking people with it. In what possible context could I have been saying that?
I'll tell you when the show's over. I know exactly what the context was.
I told you what I thought when the show was on.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, HR would have to get involved there.
I don't think it was that. I would probably remember if it was that.
You don't remember half the time you're touching people around here, so
Nothing
touch
wrong.
them so
There's
often.
nothing wrong with that.
Unless
I
they
think there
don't
is.
want it.
Yeah.
There is something absolutely wrong with it if there is not consent.
No means no, Sterling.
Yeah. Mick walks in here and never gives, and you immediately start grabbing him and hugging him and
I've punched you
poking
back.
him with
I've
it.
thrown
Why do you
stuff
think I'm
at you.
behind glass?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
There's
Well, he's about to be behind
nothing
bars.
with
He keeps it up.
hugging your boys. There's nothing wrong with that.
You know what? Brothers don't shake hands, dude. Brothers got to hug, Mick.
We're not brothers.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
I don't know if we're boys either.
Yeah.
We're acquaintances. We're
Yeah.
coworkers a little bit.
Colleagues.
Colleagues.